Well, a very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Flight Deck Sim live stream. Today it's the 11th of January 2023. It's 3 minutes past 4 in the afternoon here in the UK. We're back at X-Plane 12. We're back in the excellent Felis 747-200. The first ever time trying it out in X-Plane 12. It's one of my most favourite add-ons in any desktop simulator. An absolute joy, an absolute challenge to fly. We're going to fly it like it was the 60s, INS navigation, conventional navigation, all the way from the Caribbean, departing from St Maarten. We're flying to Colombia, the capital, Bogota. Flight time 2 hours and 20 minutes. Depending on the weather, I might have a go at this very tricky VOR approach, which will take us right onto a final where I'm going to do a final to a 500-foot turn. We'll have to see what the weather's doing there at the moment, see what the situation with ETC is. It's a beautiful day here though in the Caribbean. Right now the temperature is 29 degrees Celsius, winds from the east and a few clouds as well. Live time, live weather, 5 minutes past 12 local time in the Caribbean as well. But yes, we're in the Alpaca Airways liveried aircraft today. Don't think there'll be much ATC here in real life. I mean on VATSIM today in real life, just because of the time it is here. This is just the default airport. There isn't any payware or detailed scenery for St Maarten and X-Plane 12 yet. I do have some payware scenery, but it's not compatible with X-Plane 12. I tried to get it installed, but I've got Ortho 4XP with the default airport. It looks absolutely fine. The beach doesn't look as good as it does in real life, but it'll be a really cool departure anyway. Who have we got here in chat then? We've got Daffy. No smoking light is optional today. Absolutely. It's like it's the 60s again. You can smoke and light up if you so wish. Zed Sim Pilot's just chatting there. Have a good flight, mate. Good to see some good old X-Plane 12. Absolutely. I've done a couple of test sectors. Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the stream. Bogota, though, very challenging. Elevation's 8,500 feet. And the performance of the aircraft deteriorates considerably, which you'll be able to see today. I can plenty of excuses to use for my awful landing. Listeners here, James Monks, Edo, John Doe, Domino Rosina, Mir Charter just joined. What did I miss? Absolutely nothing. You've joined at the right time. Oh, look, someone's joined us on VATSIM. Alpaca Airways, I think that's 7.5 over there. Rota Fibs here as well, who's just trying X-Plane 12 out, which is great. Like I said, I'm enjoying the sim more and more here. But here we are. Here's the Felis 747-200 in Alpaca Airways. This is Jordan, one of my members, made this livery. Looks absolutely awesome. If you want to download it, use the command !liveries, and you'll be able to find the Google website to download all the Alpaca Airways liveries, which is very nice. The default tug is driving all over the place. Now, I have got better pushback working in this aircraft. For me, it doesn't work in the Zebo mod. I have had to disable, though, Toby Eye Tracker. There's a compatibility issue between the two, which is a shame. I might turn it back on for the approach into Bogota, but I can do it without the Toby Eye Tracker. We'll have to see how we get on there. Who else got? Hoo Chum, Andy Test as well. Nice to see you here in chat. But yeah, we're going to have some fun. Bear with me, because it does take a little longer to set up this aircraft than, say, the 737. There's a lot going on. We'll run the default checklist as well, but I'll try and follow procedures as similar as possible to the real 747-200. The good news is I can follow a lot of the flows in the 737. It's a Boeing. It's got a commonality between them all. So it has an engineer's panel, but I can get everything set up on there as I would in the 737. It usually works out quite well. Anyway, let's zoom on in towards the aircraft through the air bridge. You can hear the fan blades ticking over there as it's spinning in the wind, but there we are, through the air bridge, up the spiral staircase and into the cockpit as smooth as ever. Right, now let's get the show on the road. Let's get some electrical power. That's over here on the engineer's panel. We're going to pop the battery on. We'll close that here. We'll now select the standby power. Actually, no, let's put the external power on first. I've already got it connected. There we are, external power's on, and we'll put the standby power to normal, which powers up all the gauges. So now we have some electrical power to the aircraft. Let's have a little look at our routing today. We'll show you what we're going to do navigation-wise. So we're here in St Maarten in the Caribbean. Let me just zoom out and show you planet Earth. We'll be departing off runway 10, flying the Juliana 2 departure. So we're going to be flying outbound on a radial. I'll be having a go flying a DME arc, and then flying outbound off the 237 radial to our first INS waypoint, Dandy. And then these are the waypoints I'm going to program in the INS Millock, Papa Juliet Golf, entering South American airspace to, I think it's Santa Barbara, Pi, Bov, and then into Bogota. So as I said, the elevation here is very high, and that should take about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Now, moving over here to the iPad, I want to get some fuel and the passengers loaded up. So we go here to the load calculator. Now, I've preloaded all of this prior to the stream, so this aircraft burns a whopping 12 tons of fuel an hour, so it's almost 5 times as much, or 4 times as much as the 737. We require 40 tons of fuel. I'm going to take an hour's worth of extra fuel, firstly because the approach I'm planning is extremely challenging. I've flown it about 4 times practicing for this stream. I've only done one stabilised approach, the rest were all over the place. So I'm going to take an hour's worth of extra fuel, not only to allow me to have 2 goes at the approach with additional fuel afterwards, but there's also thunderstorms forecast in Bogota between now and 1800 Zulu and 2200 Zulu. So actually we should get in. Oh no, it should be when the storms start, we'll get in there. So yes, we'll take an additional hour's fuel, so that's 12 tonnes, so 40 plus 12 will take 52 tonnes, and I've fiddled with the fuel calculator to ensure that we've got 52 tonnes, so 52077. We're going to take a full load of passengers, which is at 377, I think, or something like that, 25% cargo. Press the instant load, and you should see it hunker down on its gear. Boof, there you go, you can see it all moving around and putting the weight over the main gear there. So fuel and passengers should be on. Refuel, use load sheet data, just want to press it to refuel, just make sure I've got it in there. So, oh no, 59, no, I said 52 tonnes, let me just, I'll just do it like this, 52 tonnes instant refuel. There we go, you can see we've got 52 tonnes, our gross weight is 279.8, so we're estimating 267 plus 12, so that's 279. Yeah, so it is exactly what we'd expect it to be. So I'm happy we've got the correct gross weight in there, and the passenger load as well. We'll just double check with the payload anyway. Use load sheet data, instant board and load. Yeah, they're in. 18 crew, 388 passengers, sorry, and 13.7 tons of cargo. INS we'll look at later, and the rest is all done there on the EFB. So Bogota. What did I say? Bogota. Cheers, Hayden. Aditus, what I hear you saying is that there are plenty of excuses for a spine-crushing landing today. Excellent. Absolutely, you've got to make these excuses up. Let's go on to the overhead panel here. So the flight control hydraulic power guards are all closed, yaw dampers off, auto brake, there's no RTO function, anti-skids on. We want the body gear steering to arm for pushback. We'll turn up the panel lighting as well. We'll just push this button here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking on behalf of the entire
and this sort of
crew.
arms the PA system so you get calls at the correct time.
We will depart shortly after we have our clearance. The cabin crew is finished with their preparations. For now, I wish you a pleasant flight, and I will be back during the flight with further flight information.
So INS to standby, a compass DG is set, HF is not going to be used, arm the emergency exit lights, will shut the door, you can hear the passengers boarding. Yeah, they're a rowdy bunch here. How do I shut the door? There we are. That should hopefully be a little bit quieter now. Intercom then is all set. That's all set here. Alternate flaps, don't need any engine anti-ice. Radio master switches on. Stall warning test. Mac airspeed warning test. Over rotation test. Probe heat comes on later, but we'll turn on the window heat now. And lighting, we want the nav lights on at this stage. So the overhead panel's all configured. I have preset this prior to the stream, so we've got the VOR tune. So if I bring up Navigraph for a second here, you can see we've got the VOR. St Maarten Papa Juliet Mike is active, 113.0. You can see, look, we've got DME here, 1130, 1130, and you can also listen to the ident. Because we don't have any nav display, to make sure it's correct, you need to tune nav 1 here. Listen for the Morse code. So there was Papa Juliet Mike identified. It's really cool. They've got all radio attenuation all modelled in this, which is excellent. So that's all set. MCP is set. We're going to brief that later. Working our way here, looking forward. We'll test the indicator reset, altitude alert test, GPWS test, radio rudder ratio test. Get my teeth back in. Instrument warning tested as well. We've got lots of warning lights on, which is normal for this stage. INS we'll look at shortly. I just want to go over here to the engineers panel because we've got a lot to configure over here. Screen is fine for me, says Peter. I will. Didn't know that Lib Radio was installed on the Felis. It is, yes. Felis is using the Lib Radio plugin. Right. So, what was the temperature here actually in St Maarten? It's yeah, 29 degrees. We better whack on the APU and get some conditioned air. So we just move that to start briefly. Fuel valve, the APU door is opening. And move that to start. There we are. The APU is starting. The electrical panel is configured for now. Engines aren't running yet. We've got sufficient oil quantity for the sector. So we've got over 6.5 US gallons per engine. Panel lighting is fine as it is for now. Working our way up here. Galley power. We'll put the buses on. Galley lav fan to auto. Galley chillers on. We've got the AC/DC metering panels all here set as it needs to be. We're on ground power at the moment. Trim air on, dehumidifier on, the pack controls are in auto. We're going to get some conditioned air into the cabin, so I'll put the bleeds on for a second and we'll move these to half and turn on the recirculation fans. I won't use the gasper because that makes a lot of noise. I think the APU is running now, so we'll put the APU bleed on. There you go, you can hear the conditioned air coming into the cabin, so you can see, look, it's, well, I should be going to heat, I don't think. Maybe it's cool, but we've got conditioned air coming in now. So that is all set for now. We're going to be cruising at 36,000 feet. I remember Felis telling me you set it 1,000 feet below, so 35,000 feet. It's on auto. I think you put the Q&H for the elevation of the destination. So it's 3036. So I'll set that here. 3036 is about here. Fuel pumps, we want to put all the fuel pumps on except the centre tank. We don't have any fuel because the sector's sort of less than 3 hours. Each tank has the equal amount of fuel, so tank 1, 2, 3, 4 has 13 tons, tank 1 and 4 has 11,280 plus this here equals 13 tons, so it all adds up and makes sense. So that's all set. Here we've got to do some squib tests, so check the bottles. We'll do some fault tests here. So there's the fire test and the fault test. Air pumps, they go to the auto position, but I think for pushback they come off. If I turn this one off, I think it... No, that one off, and then the electric hydraulic pump on. There we go. Sufficient hydraulic quantity we have. Brake temperature monitors all good. The aircraft was cold and dark. Fuel jettison panels closed. Hopefully we won't be using that here. I think we're okay on the engineers panel. Oh yeah, I just need to turn on the aft cargo heat. That's to normal. Right, I think we've done everything there. It's a lot easier to set up the DC3. The DC3 is hard. I enjoyed that stream yesterday though. Mark McKay, why do most airline pilots have croaky voices when making passenger announcements? I don't know. I don't. I sound like this. Well, I am a bit croaky because I've just recently had COVID, so I'm a little bit bugged up still. But yeah, some guys do put a voice on. I do agree. Excellent. So let's have a go at this INS navigation now. So what I need to do is tell the INS where we are. So let me bring up Navigraph for you. Bring up the airport chart. So we're on stand 1 here in St Maarten. There's the terminal, and there's the parking spot coordinates. So we need to tell the INS where we are on the planet. So Alpha 1, these are the coordinates we're going to put in. So what I'm going to do is rotate this to position, and we're Alpha 1, so north 18026, insert west 063069. Press insert, and just to save a bit of time, because I need to load up 3 INSs here, 1, 2 and 3, if I go here to INS, press insert present position, and it'll update all the INS positions for me. So you can see here 1, 2, it just saves a bit of time. I've always done that in this aircraft here. Now what we need to do is load up the waypoints. Now to do this I need to select waypoint on all of the INSs, so 1, 2, 3, and then I need to select the remote button, 1, 2, 3, and this should copy all of the coordinates in for each waypoint then. So we've just put in the present position. If we now close that, I'll show you the routing is. The first INS waypoint we're going to put in is Dandy, and then all of these highlighted waypoints in blue will go to program, but I'll use the operational flight plan to do that. So let me bring that up for you here. So where's Dandy? There's the first one there, Dandy. So north, just make sure we go to waypoint 1, north 17303, insert, and then it's west 06339, 06339.9, insert. So let me just check to make sure it's been copied into the other ones. So if I go to 1, there you go, you can see the waypoints in there for Dandy. And also down here, waypoint 1. Perfect, it has copied them across. So now to waypoint number 2, which is waypoint Millock. Here, waypoint 2. I know this isn't exactly compelling content, but it's interesting maybe to see if you want to practice using INS. It's exactly how the guys did it back in the day. So waypoint number 2, there's 8 to program in total, is Millock. So that's north 15, 17, 6. Insert west 065528. 065528. Insert. I'm relying on you in chat as well to spot any errors. I've just seen Listerman's comment. I'm on the edge of my seat. Unbelievable. After Millock, Papa Juliet Golf, which is the Curaçao VOR, will be in Curaçao airspace at that point, or Caracas, I think it is. It is number 3, yes. So number 3, north 1211.8. 1211.8. Insert west 069007. Insert waypoint number 4 is Santa Barbara. North 0858. 8. Insert west 071564. Insert. So after Santa Barbara, going to the next page, it's Pi. And it is meant to be number 5. Yes, it is. Number... Hold on. Santa Barbara. Hold on. Have I made a mistake here already? What was waypoint 3? Waypoint 3 was meant to be Papa Juliet Golf. 1211.8. Waypoint 4. Santa Barbara. 72071. Yeah, waypoint 5, sorry, is Pi. Excellent. I thought I'd skip one there. So waypoint 5, Pi. Pidecuesta. So waypoint 5, north 06530. Insert west 073055. Insert. Next is Bouvis. We're getting there. Number 6, Bouvis. North 05319. Insert west.
Attention all aircraft. Princess Juliana International Altimeter 3007.
How do I turn that off? Explain. I don't want to know what it is. I know what it is already. I can't turn that off. Bouvis is in. Insert. Next is Vulam. We'll already be on the arrival then. Waypoint number 7. Vulam is north 05175. Oops. 05175. Insert west 074231. Insert. And then the rest is on the arrival there. All I'm going to do is on waypoint number 8 is put the airport there. That way, you know, if I have a issue with the VOR lose situational awareness, at least I'll be able to route direct to the airport. So I'll put Sierra Kilo Bravo Oscar, which is Bogota. I can never pronounce this place. Waypoint number 8 then, north 04421. 04421. Insert west 074088. Insert. There we are. So they're all in. And now, just to speed up things here, what I can do is go to quick align, and what that does, it just puts all the INSs in nav. Oops. Just press quick align again. Quick align. It puts all the INSs in nav 1, 2, 3, and has it all programmed for you. I could just check here. We should have 1. Oh no, I should have 005, but 105. That's accurate enough here. And you can see we've got 45 minutes till the next waypoint. So nav, and the rest is all set. There we are. Bogota. Stop it. Right, INS alignment is complete. Which needs to be performance. So performance calculator. Use load sheet data. So takeoff weight is 286.4 tons. Takeoff CG is set. We're going to use flap 10. Runway length, we can pre-populate all this information now. So let me bring up Navigraph here for you. So runway length is 2,300 meters. 2,300. Great little OPT this. Elevation, put about 100 feet. Runway heading is 096, so put 100 degrees, put slope as 0. It's dry. Read data from sim, 27 degrees, pressures 1018, 1307. And there's our V-speeds. All set here. Let me just make sure what's what I'm expecting. V2 156, 150. Yeah, I'm a little bit heavier because of the extra fuel, so I can simply press set bugs, and you'll watch the bugs on the airspeed indicator. Boop, it updates them all for you. V2 goes onto the MCP for you as well, 158 knots, and trim is 3.5 units. So I just want to increase the limits there. So now nose down trim 3.5 units is set. And initial pitch attitude will be 16 degrees, optimal climb is 311 knots. We're going to use about 1600 metres of this 2367 metre runway. It's very accurate, this, and I think it's just based off takeoff dry off the EPR setting. Now for some reason I've got to select go around for the checklist, but we'll put the weather radar to standby, tilt at +5, and I think we're all pretty much ready to run the checklist. I don't think I've forgotten too much information. Did I put the APU on the bus? I don't think I did. Let me just put the APU on. So that's closed. Closed. That's tripped the external power. And I can now disconnect the ground power and remove the chocks. Just verify I've got the parking brake set first. It is set. So let's go here to ground, remove chocks.
Cockpit to ground, remove the chocks.
And disconnect GPU.
Cockpit to ground,
close the
disconnect
doors.
ground power.
And we'll also disconnect the air stairs. So ground handling, toggle jetway.
Chocks removed. Ground power disconnected.
I think the jetway's going, or there it goes. There's the jetway disconnecting itself from the aircraft. And we'll get ready to run the checklist there. 45 miles, 999 minutes, because you're still stationary. That is correct, Rashid. Generic pilot is a version of JFK with the Pan Am terminal. I was thinking of flying the Pan Am 742 from JFK to St Maarten. I don't think so. Most of the airport add-ons are sort of true to life of how the airport is at this present time, unless it's like a Kai-Tak or something like that. Rashid, you overwrite waypoints when you pass them with the same numbered one from the next 9. I think they were answering a question that probably asked in chat. But yes, once you get to waypoint 9, you then program waypoint 1, and it'll automatically go from 9 to 1. Philippe, thank you very much for your donation. I have no idea why that's not pinged up. My alerts are on, and I can see the message there. Let me flush that there.
50,
there we go. Thank you very
40,
much. You
30,
donated yesterday as well.
20,
He says
10.
you're literally getting married. Eh? I hope your wife doesn't, or partner doesn't.
I'm literally getting married right now.
You shouldn't be watching this stream. Congratulations, sir. Let me get an applause for you. Interesting. Thank you. Merchar sending the ring there as well. Excellent. Right, let's now run the checklist. In fact, did I do that one here? Perfect. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. So checklist. Before start checklist pilots checks.
Before start checklist, please.
Call for better pushback as well.
Gear lever and lights.
Oops, yeah, it mutes the audio, unfortunately. Oh, there's a massive 7.4 next to me. Excellent. Well, I'll do a shortish push, just so I don't get too in the way. Hopefully, he'll push and be clear. Ooh, no, that will probably break it. Hold on, something like that. Then, actually, you know what? Because, look, I'm going to do a straight push onto this stand. That's actually something that you do in real life, and it keeps the taxiway clear.
Alright, Captain, got the directions. Let me know through the menu when you're ready.
There, I forgot the seatbelt and no smoking signs.
On.
Emergency lights.
Armed.
Great news,
Exterior
Captain,
lights.
your tow's coming.
Excellent. Oh, what did I forget? Exterior lights check. Yeah, that's alright. That's the beacon light.
Check.
But I'm not ready for engine start yet.
Flight instruments.
Turn that off.
Check.
Altimeters and clocks.
There's that big tug.
1, 0,
There, oh,
2,
it's in the terminal.
0. Set and cross check.
Impressive.
Radio INS switches.
Minimums. Approaching
Radio.
minimums.
Radar and transmitter.
Cheers, John, 23 months as a member. Can't believe there's
Stand
only
by.
1 month left until I get my
Indicator lights.
alpaca badge. Can't
Check.
believe you've been a member for nearly
Engine and
2
wing
years,
attacks.
John. Thank you very much, buddy, for your continued
Off.
support. I hope you're doing very well.
Stall
Nice to see you
warning.
here in chat, and hope you're
Check.
well and safe.
Mach
Thank you.
airspeed warning.
Check.
Auto brakes.
Flight deck to best
Check
man.
and off.
Unbelievable.
Body
Absolutely,
gear
you're doing well,
steering.
buddy.
Arm.
Anti-skid.
Alright, looks like the doors and hatches are closed and we're ready to
Autopilot
connect.
and flight director.
Check and
So
off.
far, so good.
Takeoff warning.
God, I'm going to push back in 30 minutes in this thing. Oh yeah, takeoff warning is just a config check.
Check.
Auto flight
I
enunciated.
haven't got the yoke on here.
40,
Check.
30,
Cheers, Sack. Thank you very
20,
much for your $5.
Instrument warning.
I'll pop outside for this whilst the checklist goes on. Thank you.
Just finished watching your delightful DC-3 Alaska stream.
Oh, cool.
Now with you live. A multi-hour flight deck to sim morning is superb.
Oh, thank you very much
Smiley
for
face.
your 5 Canadian, I think that's Canadian dollars SAK. I really appreciate it, buddy. I'm glad you enjoyed the DC3
Normal.
stream as well.
Oxygen mask and
Thank you very
regulator.
much for your kind gesture. That was fun flying the
Check
DC3
and
yesterday.
emergency off.
Guys, is the alerts looping
Brake pressure.
twice? It sounds like it's playing twice for me.
Check.
Welcome
Stabilizer
aboard,
trim.
Captain. Toes connected. Bypass
check
pens
and
inserted.
talking.
Go and kill the parking brake
Rudder
when you're ready to
aileron
go.
trim. Check. Checklist completed.
Well, I think I've got most of that here. Let's do the engineers checks now.
Battery.
We'll fly the
On.
DC3 again soon, I hope.
APU
hopefully.
panel. Check. Auxiliary power. Check. Engine oil quantity. Check. Fuel quantity. 5,1,8,9,5 kilograms. Fuel panel. Check and set.
I think we're all good here.
Pressurization controls.
Starting the engines. The sounds on this are
Check
awesome.
and set. Bleed controls.
Willie, finally
Wait.
back in a real aeroplane. Wait, he said. I think he wants the packs
Check
off.
and set.
There we go.
Hydraulic quantity. Check. EPR computer. Go around.
Welcome.
Circuit breakers. Check. Indicator lights. Check.
Just
Electrical
got your
panel.
message, Andy. No, I'm not in
Check
observer mode.
and
Just
set.
double checked.
Air conditioning controls. Check and set. Fire control and wing overheat panels. Check and set. Equipment cooling.
Look at this thing. It's like Apollo
Check.
11.
Passenger oxygen. Check. Hydraulic panel. Wait.
These come off maybe.
Check and
There
set.
we are. Yeah.
Fuel jettison
Then this
panel.
on for the pushback.
Check. Crew oxygen. On. Oxygen mask and regulator.
Yeah, thanks for subscribing there, Benjamin.
Check and emergency off. ADPs off. Checklist completed.
Excellent. So that's all done. And next is the after start checklist. So we'll just tune up Unicom here, see what the situation is behind us, make sure there's no one there. There's an Air France 747-400. There's 2 Alpaca Airways aircraft, and we're going to do a straight pushback onto the stand behind. So let's just have a little look here what that stand is. We're on stand 1, so we're going to push onto Bravo 4. I'll just make sure I'm transmitting on next spot here. St Maarten traffic, Alpaca 74 X-ray Papa pushing back Alpha 1 onto stand Bravo 4. There we are. So that's now done. Are you ready to get on our way? Oh yeah, I better just brief the departure actually. Should explain what I'm doing. So taxi, pushing back as I mentioned onto... Oops, why is that not dragging? Onto Bravo 4, so push back facing north. I'm going to make a left turn. Now I can't use the Alpha departure because this taxiway is too narrow, so I'm going to have to go to Bravo, backtrack and do a 180 here and take off from runway 10. And obviously this is the very famous departure from Princess Juliana on the beach here, so we'll be blasting everyone into the Caribbean. And then the SID we're flying is this Juliana 2. Now this is going to be a really busy departure for me. I might not do the fly past until I get established because there's a lot going on. So the initial departure, because there's terrain straight ahead, why can't I drag this? Look here, initial climb, as soon as practical, make a right turn. So as soon as we get airborne at around 300 or 400 feet of the ground, I'm going to start that right turn, and we're going to keep turning until we're on a heading of 220 to intercept the 166. That's why I've preset that heading here, 220. And on that heading, we'll intercept the 166 outbound from St Maarten until we're 10 miles outbound on the 166 radial. Once we're 10 miles, we can start a right turn, and then we're going to fly a DME arc, turn 10, twist 10 technique, all the way until we intercept the 237 radial outbound, and that's the Alpha 516 airway, and then we'll fly that, why can't I don't know why I'm having issues dragging this. I'm going to intercept the 237, which is the Alpha 516 radial to Dundee, and that's our first INS waypoint. So it's a very busy departure. I'm going to hand fly it without flight directors as well. So do bear with me, because I'd like to do the fly past. I'm not going to do it straight away because I've got to be heads down watching the instrumentation. There's a lot going on here. Right, so we'll do below the line. So beacon on, parking brake we can release.
Parking brake released.
And
here comes the pushback. Light them up.
packs off. And transponder, we'll put to transponder. There we are, we're on our way. Oh, that was a good job. He started moving, it just got out of his way. Right, let's start these engines. The sounds on this are incredible.
Ready to start the engines.
Ready for engine start.
Right, starting engine number 4, we'll use system 1.
Starting engine 4.
Starter valve open.
So starter valves open. We'll go outside for the first one. Listen to this. The Queen. So just popping back here to get the engine started. So we've got N2 rotation, which is here.
20% N2.
We've got oil pressure, and we've got N1 here, so we can now put the fuel in.
Fuel on.
That's 1 of 4. Oh, did I forget to turn the beacon? No, beacon's on. Beacon's on. Starting engine. So this one we'll do inside, so you can just monitor what I'm looking for when we start the engine. So starting engine number 3, ground start.
Starting engine 3.
Starter valve open.
So valve open. First thing we want to register is N2. So you can see that increasing. Next is oil pressure. Oil pressure's increasing. Then we have N1 rotation, which is on engine number 3. So you can see that it's on 0, but you can see it's
Minimums.
slowly increasing.
Minimums.
There you go. It's very hard to see, but it is increasing there. So we need all of those before we can put fuel in at
20%
20%.
Fuel on.
Fuel on. There's light up.
Light up.
EGT's increasing, as is N1, the fuel flow.
Starter off.
Starter valves off, and that means we can now start engine number 2. Jessica Hunt, thank you very much for your 10 months as a member. Hope you're doing very well.
Engine stabilized.
Nice to see you here, and hope you enjoy the stream. Thank you very much for your continued support. Thank you very much. Right, starting engine number 2. Let's go outside for this one.
Starting engine 2.
Starter valve open.
Can't even hear X-Pilot. I get so much enjoyment out of flying this aircraft. It's wicked. If you can hear me, that is. Perfect.
20%
Oh, that was
N2.
good timing.
Fuel on.
There's that iconic view out the wing. Look at that, 2 engines spinning. Awesome.
Just about done here. Go ahead and set your parking brake.
Parking brake set.
There we go.
Engine stabilized.
And we're disconnecting the tow.
And
Give me just a
lastly-
moment.
Engine number 1.
Starting engine 1.
Starter valve open.
I've got an awesome wing view here. Keep on 85,000. Yeah, subscribers got 85,100 now, I think, or something like that. It's awesome. Perfect. Valves open. N2. Disconnect.
20% N2.
Fuel on.
Fuel on. Light up.
Perfect. I've got yoke cam going here as well.
Starter
Now,
off.
last time I used all 4 thrust levers. It's really awkward to use. I've got quite big hands, but if I had all 4, I can't separate
Engine
all of them here.
stabilized.
So what I'm doing, I've only assigned it to 1 to power all engines. I know
And we're
it's-
disconnected. Signal and
not-
pin on the right. Take it easy and have a safe flight.
I know it's not authentic. It's just much easier to control. And unfortunately, there is it's bugged at the moment. Felis in their Discord said don't use it at the moment, but the options here, there is a 2-axis throttle, where left one would usually control the left 2 engines, the right one the right 2 engines, but it's broken. It doesn't work properly for me at the moment, so I'm just using there. Yeah, maybe 0321 short. I have heard of the Bravo Quadrant, and there's a add-on for it for the 7.4. That would be pretty cool. Thanks for subscribing there as well, Jake Paul God. Hope you're doing very, very well. Right, I surely missed Lizzie Windsor popping in now. Then she did pop her clocks, but yes, unfortunately, I don't think she'll make a return. Right, let's do the before taxi flow. Do you know what I do, guys? I follow the same taxi flow I do in the 737, and it works. So 1, 2, 3, 4 generators online. We can now turn off the APU, close the valve, and close the split system breaker. Start switches are up here to flight. They'll go on to flight just before taxi. Start valve off. Probe heats on. Anti-ice isn't required. Air conditioning. We'll just pop the packs in half just to get some conditioned air into the cabin. And that is all set. Flaps to 10. And flight control check.
Flaps 10.
So full forward and full back. Left and right. Here comes the rudders. Full right and full left. And that, I think, is it. We can now do the before taxi checklist, or I think it's called after start checklist here.
After start checklist.
We're all good.
Flight recorder.
Hydraulics, thank you.
On.
I knew I'd forgotten to do something.
Start switches.
Off.
Beacon lights.
On.
And the fuel heating is to
Brake
come
pressure.
auto as well.
Check.
Start levers.
Idle detent.
That's Andy, one of the members
Engine
airborne. We should
NDIs.
catch up with him in this thing. Decimal 85 for the cruise.
Electrical panel. Check. Pack valves. Open. Dual warning lights. Out. Hydraulic panel. Check. Flight recorder.
Perfect.
On. After start checklist completed.
Excellent. And next is the taxi checklist, which we'll do when we initiate taxis. So we'll turn on the turn-off lights. Release the
Parking brake release.
parking brake. We'll do a config check, just like we do in the 7.3. No config warning. Got to go here, external. Yes. This sim, Microsoft Flight Sim's great. This is great though. It's meant to be hurting your ears, guys. What an add-on! What a beat! Oh, sorry about that. It's wicked, isn't it? Oh, yes. Right, let's do the taxi checklist. It's got so much quieter
Taxi
in here.
checklist, please.
Flaps. Flaps 10.
Awesome.
Flaps 10.
Take
Dark
off
in
data.
here. Let me just,
EPR and
still haven't
airspeed
got quite
bugs.
got the lighting right in
Damn.
this sim. Oh, what have I damned? Damn it. Let me just turn up the lighting here. And for Jim too, just makes it a little bit clearer. We're so high up here, we're actually doing... Well, actually, we nearly stopped us. We're doing 3 knots. What was that damn for? Oh, didn't set the trim for departure, did I? 3.5 units. What was that? What? Oh no, takeoff, EPR, and airspeed bugs. Hold on.
Set and cross check.
They are. That should be on takeoff try.
Stabilizer
So we're going
trim.
to wait here at Bravo because we can't use
Set
Alpha.
in green band.
Probe heat.
On.
Flight controls.
Check.
Yaw dampers.
Check.
Seat belts and
So
shoulder
check that's
harness.
a map. Make sure
Check.
there's no one on final.
APU. Off. Fuel heat. Wait.
Uh-oh, fuel heat. Isn't that meant to be on auto? I thought I'd done that already. Oh no, fuel heat off. Doesn't that go on for after takeoff then? Right, I'm just going to wait here. Let me just turn that back off.
Parking brake set.
Fuel heat will just turn off. It's my bad.
Off. totalizer and gross weight. Set. Flight engineer and pilot panels. Check. Aft cargo heat.
Good, so there's no one on final.
Seatbelt and shoulder harness. Check. Taxi checklist completed.
And it's before takeoff next, so we'll run that as soon as we enter the runway. I need to put the flight guard switches
Parking brake released.
to flight, all of them. And we'll just tell Unicom we're entering the runway. And St Maarten traffic, Alpaca 7 for X-ray, Papas, entering runway 10 via Bravo backtrack. Pop the landing lights on. And we'll do the before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist.
Icing considerations.
Check.
Cabin alert.
Thanks,
Check.
Hudson Markle, for that.
Transponder.
Hold on.
TARA.
Check.
Ignition.
Flight start.
Body gear steering.
So that's going to be a dam, but we're still taxiing. That's fine. I'll skip that.
Pack valves.
They can come off.
Wait.
Cheers, Joss. Wait, they're off
Closed.
for departure or closed.
Pressurization mode selector. Auto. Fuel boost pumps. On. Cross feed valves. Check. Before takeoff checklist completed.
All ready to go. So just doing my own operator's checklist. So config we checked. Flaps we have 10 green lights. Stab trim is 3.5 units set. Takeoff briefing. The air conditioning's all configured and pressurized for departure. The SID we're going to be flying is the Julna 2. So remind you, immediately after departure, at the end of the runway 400 feet, make a right turn to intercept the 166 outbound till 10 DME, 12 mile arc, outbound on the 237. We're going to go straight up to our cruise level, which is 36,000 feet. There's no ATC. NADP 2, I'll try and remember to back up at 1,000 feet. And that's it. Cabin secure, checks complete. All I've got to do is the body gear steering to disarm once we've lined up. We're on the beach today. Awesome. There we are. So quiet here in comparison to outside. Right, all lined up. Oh, what a lineup! You can't teach it. Right, so that can go to normal. Right, shall we go for it? Toga's in chat. I've got everything set up here. Start the timer. And airborne will be at 16:45. Run. Let's go to Bogota. Just put my head up slightly here. Two more things I forgot to do actually. EPR, takeoff dry. A little bit more thrust. Flight directors are off, that's fine, I know about that for departure. Set takeoff thrust. Oh, yoke cam, sorry. There we are, yoke cam's on.
Thrust set.
Thrust set. Light forward pressure.
80 knots.
Checked, release the forward pressure. Oh, there's a little aircraft lining up there. Oh yeah, thanks for stopping.
V1.
And our thrust levers.
Rotate.
Up we go. A little bit of a dead band there. Ooh, keep pulling up. Oof.
Positive rate.
Gears coming up. We're going to have to start that turn now. And pitch up now. We'll maintain about 180 knots, which is V2 plus 20. Watch that angular bank, 30 degrees. And going round until we get onto that 166 radial. Holding 180 knots, which is V2 plus 20.
Gears up.
Now just make sure we're in trim there. And we're now going to accelerate. So I'm going to lower the attitude to about 10 degrees. We'll accelerate to 250 knots. I'll go to climb shortly. That heading should be good to intercept the radial. Flaps to 5.
Flaps 5.
And we go to climb. And hold it about 1,000 feet per minute. Turn this up here slightly. And flaps to 1.
Flaps 1.
Just watch them, what are we doing about 1,000 feet per minute, so holding at 10 degrees, waiting for that radial to come in, looking at the HSI, there's the radial coming in, so we're going to turn outbound 166, flaps up.
Flaps up.
There's 250 knots coming up, so we're just still hold it at 10 degrees here. And we're going to wait until we're 10 miles outbound. Just going to match that heading up here. Waiting for 250 knots. That's looking good. And let's get the flight directors on. Flight director 1, flight director 2. We're going to go to IS hold. Command. And actually we can go to Vorlock. Vorlock nav's engaged. And make sure, oops, just forgot to go to indicated airspeed hold. Outsell. Just gone a little bit too fast there. And we're waiting now, if I bring up Navigraph for you, until 10 DME. We're going to be out above 4,000 feet. We're just about to make that restriction. At 10 miles, we'll start that right nut turn. We're initially going to go sort of west, or around 250. Well, 166 plus 90 is 256. So we'll go 256. And I'll start that turn now. So it's going to have a nice steep turn. It's 256. There we are. I'm doing about 260 knots. It's okay. And we'll do the after takeoff checklist. So gear off, and packs can go on to half. There we are. That's going to hopefully pressurise the plane all properly. And then we'll do the after takeoff checklist.
After takeoff checklist.
So waiting for 12 DME,
Gear lever.
10 miles, 11. We should intercept this quite nicely at 12.
Landing and logo lights.
Jerry, thank you very much for your donation. I'll ping that shortly. Once the lights off already, I think.
Off.
Ignition.
Check.
11.5
Seatbelt
miles. So
and
turned a little bit
nose
too
fire
early
check.
there.
Back valves. Open.
So we're going to turn
Fuel
10,
heat.
twist 10. We're coming up to 12 miles. So fuel heat wants to go to auto now. So many things to do. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Auto. After takeoff checklist.
12
completion.
miles, so we'll take another 10 degrees, 256, 266, we'll just go straight onto a westerly heading. And we're doing this sort of turn 10, twist 10 on 12 mile arc. So you can see that the tail's above the westerly points, that means we're flying away. We want the head to be the above the 90 degree point to fly back towards it. So I'll do another 10 degrees, 280, you can see where we are, just outside that arc. I actually go to 290 here. It's going so fast here. Around 300 knots will be the best climb speed. We'll do that once we get above 10,000 feet. In fact, what I'll do, I'll wait until we're outbound on that radial. So I just want to get that head of that needle above 90 degrees here to get back onto that 12 mile arc. Do another 10 degrees. We're going so fast. Many people have been blown into the water. Classic. And it's just a very rewarding way of flying. There we are. Still a little bit outside of it, 12.7. I've been doing a great 13 mile arc. We'll go on to our last heading of 325. 325, so this outbound one here. And then when we get onto around the 227 radial, so before 237, so when the tail of this needle is on 227, we'll do that final turn outbound out onto 237, which I'm going to set now on the courses, so 237. Jim's got it all set up ready, so we're waiting for that HSI to come in. 10,000 feet. I will accelerate shortly. And stay, well, I'm cheating here, but you can see, look, we're waiting for 227, tail of that needle on 227, 21, 22, there's 225. So what I'll do, I'll give it an intercept heading now for the outbound. You can see the HSIs are already coming alive, so I might just turn a little bit late here. Thanks, Jerry.
50, 40, 30,
We'll go to
20,
nav lock now.
10.
Full lock, so that's now going to follow the HSI.
Is it possible to fly a 747-200 the non-stop between New York and Tokyo in X-Plane 11/Flight Simulator?
What's the range of the 200? That's a long flight, but yeah, I mean, there's no limit to as long as the aircraft's got the endurance, duration for that, it shouldn't be an issue, but probably, Jerry, that would be very long for me to do as a stream though, but thank you very much for your your donation, buddy. Right, passing 10,000 feet. What I'm going to do is now go to your go to the econ climb speed. So we're going to go here to performance calculator. Optimum is 311 knots. Now the way I do this is the way Joss told me. So I'll go to a vertical speed. I'll set 1,000 feet per minute. So the aircraft's now going to lower the nose, climb at 1,000 feet per minute. You then let the aircraft accelerate to your econ climb speed, which was 311 knots. So fast in this. And as soon as you're doing 311 knots, you just simply engage IS hold. And it just keeps the thrust at the correct thrust setting there. Pretty happy with that DME arc, but now you'll see we should be established outbound to Dundee. There you go. And then we can update the INS shortly.
50, 40, 30, 20.
Thanks a lot, Stratocast.
10.
Really appreciate the $5, buddy. Thank you.
Saw the first ever built 747 at the Seattle Museum
Amazing.
of Flight a
Seen
month
it there
ago.
as well.
Man, that place is a treat. You have got to visit one day.
I've been very
50,
fortunate to be in
40,
Stratocast. Thank you very much for your
30,
donation. It is
20,
a real treat
10.
indeed. I really appreciate that. Went there when Microsoft invited me to Seattle. Cheers, buddy. Thanks a lot, Craig. Oh no, there's all sorts going on here. Firstly, Craig Stevens, 22 months. I was going to suggest for 90,000 subs that you recreate President Bush's secret trip from Andrews airfield based at Iraq. Well, that's a very specific routing. 90,000. I'm going to do like an 8-9 hour sector. I think that would be quite fitting for 90,000 subs. Don't forget to subscribe. So do that. And don't forget, if you didn't know, every time we pass 10,000 subscribers, so since we've reached 50, so it's 60, 70, 80, 90, I do a stream just for charity. We've raised over £17,000 for charities on this channel, which is amazing. So don't forget to subscribe, and we'll get up to that target very quickly. I don't know about your suggestion though, Craig. We'll think about it. Jerry Magius or Mygius, thanks a lot for the $2. I think the range is 7,800 statute miles. Thank you very much for your donation. I wouldn't know, but that sounds about right. I mean, it can fly for a very long time. Jerry says it's 6,800 miles between New York and Tokyo, so based on that, should be all good. Anyway, there we are, outbound. What I'm going to do now is bring up Navigraph for you. There we are, so here's Navigraph charts, and if we get rid of that, you can see we're established. There's a little, how do I get the plane on? There we go. We're inbound to Dundee. Need to update the INS. So if we go down here, waypoint change. Oh, I need to deselect remote there. So 1, 2, 3. We press waypoint change, 0, 1, insert, and we can now switch to INS. So what you need to do here is go to INS and INS, and then engage INS here, and now the roll mode is nav in INS, so it's going to follow the INS programmed waypoint. Remember that first waypoint is 11 miles away, 1.7 minutes, and that waypoint was Dundee, and then the INS will sequence to the next waypoint, which is Millock. That's how it works. There we go. 9 hours in Concorde. Ooh! I could do 2 sectors in Concorde, couldn't I? That would be quite fitting. That would be also exhausting. But it would work quite well. The first ever charity stream flight was in Concorde, which is pretty cool. And that's it, guys. We're now established in the climb, 310 knots. We'll maintain this indicated airspeed until we do Mach decimal 85. We'll then convert to Mach hold, climbing up to flight level 360. Right now, as we climb with fixed thrust, you can see the fuel flow is decreasing per engine because the air is becoming less dense. But right now we are burning 5.2 tons of fuel per engine per hour. So we're burning 5, 10, 15, 20 tons of fuel an hour. On takeoff it would have been even more. So yes, it's a gas guzzling aircraft. Remember, the airborne time was 16:45, which I've made a note of, so we could do some time and fuel checks en route. We took an additional hour's worth of fuel, so we should have 12 tons of fuel on top for each sector. And now I can finally do my flyby, which I missed on departure because it was such a busy one, but I was very happy with how that takeoff went. Here we go. Excellent. Ooh, it's a bit glitchy there. Superb. And the flight time, what was it? 2 hours 20. So we should be on approaching 2 hours time. So 17, about 18, so 7 o'clock UK time. sure we're pressurising properly. We did have an issue on the test sector when I forgot to put the packs on, but right now we have diff pressure of 6.5 psi, cabin altitude is about 4,000 feet, the cabin is steady, so we
50,
suggest we are pressurising.
30, 20, 10.
Thanks a lot, Keith Martin, for the £5. Very generous of you, sir. Thanks a lot for your donation there.
I enjoyed watching your CJ4 flight from a year ago.
Oh.
Haha. I fly that jet.
Amazing, Keith. Thank you very much for
50,
your £5.
40,
How did I do?
30,
Which one was it? I've flown it
20,
twice, I think. Once
10.
to Aspen and another one as well. Appreciate your donation, though, buddy. Thanks a lot. Again, another donation, Stratocast.
Did you walk through Concorde's cabin in Seattle? My 6'4" frame loved that one.
Stratocast, I can't remember. Did I go through Concorde there? I can't remember if I did in Seattle. I have been through the one in Duxford in the UK, the Duxford Imperial War Museum, several times, but it is an extremely small cabin. I'm not as tall as you, so I didn't have that issue. But yeah, if you are 6'4", Concorde would not have been a comfortable experience had you flown it as a passenger. Nor would I recommend the cockpit of 737. If you're over sort of 6 foot, it is a bit cramped in there as well. But thank you again for another donation, Stratocast. That's very, very kind of you. Very painful. Daniel goes yes for the 2-sector charity stream for Concorde. Challenge stream could be max fuel sector in this or the A340. Oof. We'll have to see when we get to 90,000 subs. Now, I have downloaded Ortho for this entire sector. We're sort of entering oceanic airspace here from Milok, and then we enter South America. Is it Caracas? Over Papa Juliet Gulf. And then I did download Ortho for this. The Bing maps around Bogota wasn't that great, so I actually went for ARC. It's a little bit better, still quite cloudy. It's nowhere near as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator, obviously, but it's absolutely fine. As I said, this aircraft, I've done 2 full test sectors and multiple approaches. It's handled really well in X-Plane 12. No issues, or major issues, nothing that I can see. It works just as well as it did in X-Plane 11. Cockpit of the 737 is really spacious compared to the Dash 8. Of course, Dominic Lucino, of course. You managed to get in after landing, that's pretty cool. No, I've never been into a cockpit of Dash 8. There we are. So we're quite heavy. Obviously, we could have taken a considerable amount of fuel, but don't forget we're fully loaded, cargo and traffic load wise. We've got 388 passengers and about 18 tons of cargo. So you can see, look, passing 28 or 27,000 feet. Helps if I set standard. You can see, look, we're only managing 1,500 feet per minute. Just remembered Daniel Delick. Thank you. Imagine being a 747-200 pilot in the 70s. Well, they would have been sat here. I have a lot of respect for these guys. Like flying with no GPS and no ND display. And this approach that we're going to attempt to fly today is gnarly. I'm going to be so busy. I'm going to be muting the alerts early because I've got to tune multiple VORs. I've then got to fly 1,000 feet above the ground, hand flying, circling round onto this approach. It's like a prescribed approach track. It is difficult, and I'm going to get destate. I'm going to get sync rate calls. I'm going to get terrain warnings. This thing is non-stop going off. Oh yes, what happened there? AFO 3310. Yeah, I saw in the news that the whole of the US, all of US airspace closed down this morning. What was it? Something to do with NOTAMs not being issued or something? I've only briefly read the news about that. Beluga, are you still flying in real life? I am. I'm currently on annual leave. I had COVID a couple of weeks ago, so I was off work for a week, and then I flew a couple of times Friday and Saturday last week, and then I'm just on my annual leave, which is why I've got a few streams to go out. This is the 3rd stream I've done in, was it 4 days? And I've got members, don't forget the group flights on Sunday, and maybe I can squeeze out one tomorrow as well. I've sort of, this week was my get some streams done this week and have some fun, catch up with things. Look at that. What a view. Alexander Wood, you're currently flying the Phoenix. Excellent. The NOTAM system failure, apparently. Yeah, that's what I read. Hello Vlad, hi, I'm a little bit confused during ATPL ops learning. What visual reference we should have at DA during Cat 1 approach? Thank you. For Cat 1 approach, or non-precision approach, you just need any sort of elements of the approach lining system, the runway, the threshold, the PAPIs. That's what you need to be seeing at minimums. For Cat 2, Cat 3, you need at least 3 consecutive rows of lights as well, but you know, your brain has to process what you see at minimums, and it's a very dynamic phase. And my operator, Captain, is pilot monitoring, so he can look out the window, and the first officer's pilot's flying. Now, if it's Cat 1 and NPA, he's doing a monitor. We call it a monitor approach, whereas it's Cat 2, Cat 3 in sort of IMC conditions, we fly to an auto land. But yeah, I can. Yeah, so for Cat 1 or NPA, just any element of the approach light system. I'll try and find the reference for you, and I can tell you exactly. Excellent. So my airline actually has quite thorough notes on visual descent after IMC final approach. So it talks about the faults or the most common errors caused by the human ability to the human's perception of what's going on. So there could be this illusion of a pitch up if the visibility decreases, and it gives this sort of tendency to duck under the approach and stuff like that. But if you're below minimums and you lose any reference to the runway, or visual reference is lost, you've got to immediately go around, because you're so close to the ground. It's very, very dangerous. It's quite a well-known incident. The Manx, is it Manx? There was an aircraft that continued below minimums and crashed not that long ago. Awesome. Right, nearly at Mach decimal 8.5. We're doing 8.3 at the moment. Excellent. Yeah, I found it. I found the actual CAT OPMPA guidance regarding what you exactly need to see at the Cat 1, Cat B. So it's any element of the approach light system. It could be the threshold markings, the lights, the touchdown zone, the runway edge lights, or any other visual reference specified in your operator's manual. That's what you need to see at minimums for a Cat 1 or an MPA. Awesome. Right, getting ready to convert to Mach. So decimal 8.4. Obviously, if we maintain indicated airspeed continuously, we'll exceed MMO, because your Mach number will increase as you maintain a fixed indicated airspeed in the climb. That'll make you feel a bit sick. Nick says there are more on a few fatals of pilots pushing their luck on the final. Absolutely, yeah, it's got to be respected. It's not easy, but yeah, if there's any hesitation, just go around. Have you ever lost visual after minimums? No, Listerman, I haven't, thankfully. In the sim, yes. It's sort of done during training and recurrent training. You do a Cat 3 approach, and what you do, you come out the clouds at about 60-70 feet AGL. Just go to Mach hold there. 50 feet above the ground, and then you call continue at 50 feet, and what they then do in the sim, they put the visibility to 0, and then they fail the autopilot as well. So you then have to do a go around from 50 feet, completely in IMC, and it's quite common during that manoeuvre to touch down. You just got to make sure you don't let the tail come up, smash the tail into the runway, but that's done during recurrent training. Yeah, that was it. The Manx into Cork on the third approach, I think they went below minimums. You still need to tell the order throttle to hold Mach. I would leave it in EPR at the moment. I don't want to hold Mach because the order throttle will hold the Mach speed, and then I want to keep the thrust at EPR there, Listerman, until we get all the way up to 360. Yes, at cruise level, exactly. What I've found is actually really useful on the approach. If I go around, you can actually pop out the display here. Now you see here, I can then press this button. Now it's disappeared for you, but I can put that on my second monitor, and it's really nice to be able to switch quickly between the two. One to go. So what I can do is, Listerman suggested, I can switch to vertical speed, and now I'm going to actually go to auto throttle Mach hold. So now the auto throttle is going to maintain Mach decimal 85 for me, and I'll just reduce the vertical speed to around 600 feet per minute, just make sure the speed doesn't drop off. And you can see that the thrust should start coming back to maintain decimal 85. It won't at the moment because we're just a bit slow. There you go. So the auto throttle is now maintaining the Mach number. And we're about to reach flight level 360. Let's have a look at Navigraph, and then we'll do a fuel and time check when we get to Milok. Remember, INS navigation, it's sort of accurate. I think it's approved up to 10 miles. Beyond 10 is, I think it's called. So, you know, it's not going to be as accurate and exact on the line. That is true to real life. Remember, there's no external input to the INS. You can get DME updating, but over time it sort of can drift by sort of 10 miles off route. Out selector's gone out now. Thank you very much for spotting that. Out cell is green. Yeah, otherwise we would have busted the level. I've done that a lot in this aircraft. Well spotted, Rashid. Beluga, what's the way from PPL to airline pilot generally? If you have already answered, sorry, I have very bad internet connection. I haven't answered that today, Beluga. It's a very common question. But there's two primary ways of getting your ATPL, an integrated course or a modular course. I think modular is a lot more popular these days. There's also these MPL specific airline courses where you don't actually fly solo or anything like that or get your PPL. Don't exactly know how that works, but they're the most common ways of getting your license. There we are, 360 then, Mach decimal 85. And we're 133 miles away already from St Maarten. That's still tuned to the VOR. This is INS information, so 95 miles to the next waypoint. We'll be there in 12 minutes. It is a bullet. Yeah, this thing doesn't hang around. So if we have a look at our operational flight plan, remember we were airborne at 16:45. We can work out what time. On the flight plan, we should be at our first waypoint, or second waypoint, which is Milok. So that's 36 minutes after being airborne. So we were airborne at 45, plus 36 is going to be 15, 21. Should be at 21, which is in 12 minutes. Look at that, 11.5. So it just shows you how accurate the operational flight plan is. MFDC3, welcome aboard as a member. Glad you're enjoying the content. You get invited to our members-only Discord. I hope you enjoy using the custom modes and chat. Welcome on board. Hope you can make the Alpaca Airways members group flight on Sunday as well. And thank you very much for your support there. Appreciate it. Danage, I love how the standby altimeter is not showing the same altitude as the main one. Now, I should think, like with the Zebo mod, that is sort of accurately modelling the fact that this is not an RVSM approved altimeter. This happens in the real 737 all the time, so you've got the captains and the first officers altimeters matching perfectly, and I should think this is just a basic altimeter, just like we have the standby altimeter in the 737, which is why it's differing. This is good as a backup, but not to be used for RVSM airspace. The real 737 altimeter, the standby altimeter often differs by 300 or 400 feet. Thanks, Listerman, for the assistance there. Would you like to see what I have under my desk? Also, I've got to show you my socks as well today. Not Alpaca Airways socks, which are available in the merch store. Who have we got under the desk? One Jack. He's sleeping away here. We went for a very long walk. He got absolutely filthy this morning. Very muddy. And he's very happy under the desk. He loves it under here. Often if I'm around the house pottering, I go to find him and he's under the desk. Next, check out this. These are my polka dot blue socks. My girlfriend bought me these for Christmas. What do you think? Check them out. Superb. I didn't actually plan to wear these today for the stream. Right, let me get Yoke Camel set up again. Superb. There we are. Yeah, he's fast asleep. It's so muddy. How much rain have we had in the UK for the last month? It's just constant bombardment from the Atlantic. All these fronts coming through. It's just everything is soaking wet. You compare it to the summer where we had drought conditions. It's awful, and it's just non-stop rain. Can't get a break. Those are some sick socks. Thank you. Calvin Klein. We need to have a unique socks cam. We do. Hi, MFDC3. Was about time I joined, as I've been following Flydeck Sim stream for years. Oh, awesome, buddy. Well, I hope you enjoy your time as a member. One who buys socks too. Let's have a little look at the exterior. I'll turn this down because this will deafen you otherwise. Ah, that's better. Stapler cam. What a beautiful machine. What a sick livery, isn't it? It's awesome. Yeah, rudder pedal cam needs to be a thing. I need an additional webcam then. I have these cameras all over the place. And what is, you've got socks with grips on the bottom of them, socks with the same grip as Michelin Pilot Sports. Brilliant. It's a superb add-on, and the great thing about the Felis 747 is I think it's just Felis and a very small number of people who sort of provide feedback to him, and it is such a quality add-on. It's so good. I mean, yeah, the textures in the cockpit aren't as good as you get in certain aircraft and things like that, but it's beautiful to fly. You've got all the old school navigation, the flight plan and fuel figures all match up. It's awesome. Oh, but looks like I'm getting a second webcam then for rudder cam. For my crosswind takeoff and crosswind landing tutorial, I filmed it on my iPhone, so I actually had both the yoke cam and iPhone. But yeah, guys, if you are interested in learning how to take off and land in a crosswind in the 737, I have an excellent set of tutorials for you, which I recorded about 6 months ago. Frank Bites, did you try the Concorde from Kalamata? It looks extremely complex. Yeah, we've done 3 or 4 sectors in the Kalamata Concorde. Our last Concorde stream, we flew, I think it was Gran Canaria to Leeds Bradford. Leeds Bradford. Yeah, type in YouTube Leeds Bradford flight deck to sim Concorde. Only up for a laugh. Superb. Yeah, I mean, the texture's actually not that bad. I mean, if you look at the back of the seats, I mean, I think that looks pretty good. You know, they're not bad, actually. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh. Not fancy armrests here. Yeah, you know, it's functional. I mean, look, they're probably not so clear there, but I don't care. I think it looks absolutely amazing. Not long until we approach a Milok. Listen, so how is the X-Plane 12 Felis holding up in comparison to the X-Plane 11 version? As far as I can see, Listerman, I can't tell a difference between the one in X-Plane 11 and X-Plane 12. So that's probably a good thing, you know. And I think Lamina have made some changes to live weather, so everything isn't a thunderstorm now, which is great. Having said that, I am forecasting thunderstorms in Bogota, so we could run into issues there. Now, the density altitude, the elevation of Bogota is 8,400 feet. So, as I said in the video description and promoting this stream, high density altitude has a massive impact on performance. Well, less thrust, less lift,
30,
increased landing
20,
roll.
10.
It's very challenging. I've got to be really careful on this approach. I don't destabilise it. Cheers, Stratocast.
Folks hanging out in the groovy 70s upper lounge.
They are, yeah, they are. They're all hanging out there. They're having a swinging old time back there. Makes me think of Austin Powers. Here we are. Well, that's a little bit of an issue that the panels up there. There we are, back in the hump. Can you actually? Oh, look, that's actually a really cool view from the hump, isn't it? I've never flown the hump in the jumbo. Yeah, it's nice that it has a full cabin. I think these are the emergency exits, aren't they? Down the spiral staircase we go. Champagne on ice. The cabin crew are servicing the aircraft at the moment. There's no TVs in the back of the stands. It is the 1960s. You can see as we get behind the wing, you can hear those engines. Loud. It's a very basic cabin, but it's a cabin at least. There we go. Beautiful. The Caribbean. Safety demo. There we are. Anyway, I'll zoom back into the cockpit. And once you get established in the cruise, the workload is quite low. I like my cabin FPS friendly. It's very FPS friendly. In fact, the whole aircraft is FPS friendly. I'm at 60 FPS. Well, I've capped it to 58, I think, but yeah, it's working really nicely. Needs to be filled with cigarette smoke. Daniel, are there any 200 still flying today? Whoa, I don't know. Maybe in some sort of cargo capacity, but it wasn't. I think Iran Airways was flying one until quite recently. As Andy was saying, I once saw an Iran Air Boeing 742 projection style in-flight entertainment on a big screen. Not saying it was poor quality, but it was like trying to watch the film through fog. Was that through all the smoke as well? Yeah, you won't. I don't think there's many of these. I mean, the jumbo jet itself is being killed off. Beautiful. We're probably about a fifth of the way anyway. Once I pass Millock, I'll have a quick break for about 10 minutes, go stretch legs, check out for a quick whiz. Welcome. I think that alert box is sounding twice there, but thank you very much to NPD Explorer 6178 for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Excellent. GeoSky can confirm still has one as a cargo config. Pretty cool. And yeah, Air Force One, although I think it's being replaced, isn't it? Is 200 too. Although it has a different name. As I always like to note, Air France had economy up in the hump on their 747s, did they? It's pretty cool. 17 Boeing 747-200s still in use. Cool. DC 9798, would you say it was much more demanding mentally to be a pilot in this era, less automation? Yes, I should think so. The approach that we're going to fly today requires constant manipulation of VOR courses, heading, speeds. The aircraft wasn't as reliable as modern aircraft either, so I think these engines, it wasn't an old banger, they were pretty reliable still, but I think engine failures were more common in sort of these aircraft. I mean, I've flown with pilots when I was a first officer who flew classic jets, even flew the 707, and he was telling me, yeah, halfway across the Atlantic, an engine failure was just a non-event, just shut it down and carried on. Obviously, a 4 quadjet not under the same. It's not no ETOP certification required. So yeah, it's yeah. I think we've got it a lot easier with FMCs, GPS. We can utilize LNAV and VNAV to fly complex approaches. But I think that enhances safety. Utilizing this automation, you could argue it degrades flying skills, but certainly those dynamic phases, takeoff and landing, it's no different today as it was 30-40 years ago. Especially the 737, when we were flying in 40 knot winds, 50 knots, 33, 35 knot crosswinds, we're having to hand fly this no different to a 200 or the classic 737 jets. Was there Boeing 747-200s of some airline that used to fly into Bogota? Yes, I believe so, Malteser. Lauren, one of the members, was I think Avianca might have had them. Is it Avianca, the national airline of Colombia? Are you using the Thrustmaster yoke? I am. Ardlin Tudor. Here it is. But I've only got 2 thrust levers on the quadrant today, because I have got the other 2, but it's not very ergonomic. Hi Rory Heap, nice to hear you, my friend. What are the workload issues involved with flying a 4-engine aircraft as opposed to a twin-engine jet? So the aircraft we're flying today, Rory, it's a 4-engine, the 747 I'm sure you've heard of, and it's the classic 200, so I'll explain what I'm looking at here. It's a huge engineering panel, and this was a crew of 3. You had a captain, a first officer and an engineer, and the engineer, as I look at this panel, you know, I've got about probably 50-60 switches, probably about 30 gauges, and an engineer's constantly having to monitor all these systems and manipulate them, and if something fails he has to move stuff around. There's also several fuel tanks. Now today, because we're flying a 2.5-hour sector, I don't have to manipulate the fuel too much. We have sufficient fuel in the main wing tanks, but yeah, they're the main differences there. I hope you're doing very well anyway, Rory. Nice to see you here, my friend. Stradicar, still got to have all those old school skills to fly for safety and backup, I suppose. Absolutely, absolutely. Right, anyway, whilst we're chatting there, look, we've just passed Millock, so we're on to waypoint number 2, which is 240 miles away. Let's do a quick fuel check and time check at Millock. So Millock, 36 minutes, it's now 38, well that makes sense, it was probably a couple of minutes ago we flew over Millock. We should have had 28 tonnes, let's call it 29 tonnes, because we've probably burnt 500 kilos since then, so 29 tonnes we should have. Remember, we took an extra 1,200 kilos, so we should have 41 tonnes on board. We've got 40.2, so we probably burnt an extra 800 kilos, which for this isn't a huge amount. And we should have burnt 11.6 tonnes, again we've passed that waypoint a while back, so it should be around 11.6, let's call it 11 tonnes. We've got 3, 6, 9, 12 minus 400, so we've got about 11.5, 11.6. So we're very close to the burn, the time and the expected fuel on board. And next check we can do is at Papa Juliet Golf. We can tune the VORs back up, which is 16.7. We're out of range for St Maarten. Look, you can see the DME's on 0, so let's tune up Papa Juliet Golf. 16.7. You can see 230 miles away, and the VOR should be in range soon. I think we might already be there, the arrow is already pointing in that direction. I wonder if there's any DME here, or was it just a VOR? Oh no, it is VOR DME. We're in range of the VOR, but we don't quite have the range of the DME yet. Cool. Bang bang, my god, so many buttons and dials, absolutely. Right guys, well it's 25 minutes past 5 UK time. I am just going to have a quick 5-minute break, 5, 6, 7, well, maybe up to 10, just to let the dog out, stretch my legs as well. When we get back we'll continue the sector and have a quick break before top of descent as well. Top of descent, well we've got the ETA up here, haven't we? 1901 Zulu. It's probably going to be a little later than that because we've got to slow down, fly the approach. That is as the crow flies. So about an hour and a half we'll be commencing the approach. I can do the stapler cam, guys. It's been a while, so let me get that set up outside and I'll see you all in about 5-10 minutes. See you in a bit, guys. thanks a lot for that intermission, guys. Feeling much better, as is Jack. I've bought him a little present. He's now going to make an appearance. Come on then. Oh, what's this? Look. Ah, yes. Oh, look, Jack Cam in his jaw. He just had a schmacko. Ah, dear. That's happy. On your bed then. Lay down. Lay down. Good boy. There you go. He's had another. Cool. Ah, look, we just picked up the DME here from the VOR, the collocated of DME. So you've got DME range here, and you've got ILS range here, so it looks like it's matching quite nicely. Hello Pete, guys, hit the thumbs up, it really helps the channel. The Captain Elite has got 185 so far. Yes, if you're enjoying the stream, I don't expect everyone to like every single stream, but if you perhaps are interested in getting the 747 or flying old school VOR 9S and you'd like to come back to this stream, liking it puts it in your liked playlist. Jack's had a schmacko, he has. I just said the word again. Awesome. I don't know if I have an ATC for this sector. Like I said, the timing of this isn't great. It's middle of the day in the week in this part of the world at the moment. But the routing for this was quite nice. We finished in St Maarten a couple of streams ago, and then, as I mentioned, the members, we're doing a group flight between Panama and Bogota this weekend, so I won't take the Felis 74, but at least I'll be positioned there for it. Probably pedantic, but you're in out selection, you've been out hold. I should think you're right there actually, so I will select out hold because that means when I lower it, it will differ, so I will go to out hold. Well spotted, buddy, thank you. Holding the level quite nicely. We might be able to do a step climb later, I don't know if it'll be efficient to do so. I love how smooth the gauges change as well. I think the order funnel's having to fight all these little constant wind changes. What is the wind up here? 278 at 20 knots. So the wind's going from the right there. Exactly, Astrid, just testing you. Well done, well spotted. Brilliant. Oh, why is that? That should be assigned my EFB view here. There we go. Hi Rishab, hi Captain, which subject do you think is the most difficult for student pilots? When I did my PPL many moons ago, I struggled with meteorology, and I had to redo the meteorology PPL test, I remember. I passed all my ATPLs first time. Yeah, meteorology PPL I had to do take again. And they all have their own difficulties, but I remember finding meteorology difficult. ATPL I actually found it quite easy. I think it was just that initial my PPL. Excuse me. But yeah, principles of flight, there's a lot to it, but it wasn't too bad. Air law's very wordy, a lot to remember as well, but that was it really. Meteorology, sorry Aaron. Unbelievable. I can't send a bird to you. HT Thomas, hi Captain, do you use Reshade for X-Plane 12? No, this is just stock X-Plane 12. Anthony is the local meteorology expert. I bet he remembered it on the test sector. I did, Andy, absolutely. Never forgotten it. Anyway, minus waypoint number 3. We'll be there in 18 minutes, and that will be Papa Juliet Golf, the VOR, which you've also co-located. Now let me get my atlas out. Is it Caracas, the country we're flying towards? I've got my little pocket atlas. Dear. I don't live or fly around this part of the world. Get my flight data sim atlas out. Not the most accurate. We want South America. There we are. 132. There we are. No, it's Venezuela. Venezuela, the capital of Caracas. That's what I meant as well. Oh dear. Hey, I'm good with European countries, not South America. Flying overhead Caracas, the capital of... Well, we're not actually flying over it. We're flying near Maracaibo. So actually, I don't know if we're... Well, we are. We're just on the west of Venezuela. And then we're going to Bogota. Oh, you lot, stop it. I saw that. Right, where's my ban hammer? You know how it is. Whenever I get a correct country or capital right, it's definitely a moment. Oh dear. That's what it was more like. You horrible. You said that Colombia was in... No, I did not say that, Aaron, did I? Anyway. Dan Duffy says, struggling with the visuals in X-Plane. What, the appearance of it? England is my city, I remember that. Was that viral video that everyone... is it... what's those stupid boys called? The Paul brother. Jake Paul, isn't it? I get all this rubbish on YouTube. Cheers, Anitus. What exactly are you smoking on the flight deck tonight? Hey, I've got the cabin door open. It's whatever the guys in first class are smoking. I'm inhaling their smoke, and it's just making my brain go fuzzy. Maybe it's long COVID. Unbelievable. Team 10, yes, I remember this rubbish Chimpacker. Thanks, Anitus, anyway, for your support as a member and your 7 months. Appreciate it, buddy. Why that's not pinged up, I have no idea. Astrid, absolutely, yeah. Cabin doors is locked post 9/11. Absolutely. My landfall will be in 15 minutes. Unbelievable, Matams. Thanks, Aditus.
Minimums. Approaching.
Well, Paul, yours, Pete's yours has come up, but I don't know where Aditus's has gone. There it is, wrong order.
Minimums.
Thanks, Aditus. Love it here, cheers. Pete has 25 months and he's got the special alpaca badge as well. It's the mushrooms he put on his pizza, found them on the walk with Jack.
Goodbye.
Norsky smells like my apartment block elevator. Every time I go to my local city, all I smell, not a smoke, all I smell is weed. It's everywhere. You lot are awful. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Well, listen, everyone. I've never tried it. Genuinely, not even in my younger years. But everyone knows what it smells like. I knew someone was going to say that. Brilliant. Right, back to the flight in question. I don't know if there's any Felis or 747-200 experts. Is it? Am I right in remembering that we open the reserves when we get below a certain amount of fuel, and if we don't reach that fuel, we just at top of descent open the reserve valves, and that feeds the fuel into the main tank, and we all have the same amount. Listen, we couldn't recognise the smell until friends that happened to know told me what it was. I think that's probably what happened when I was 15, 16 years old. Remembering my salty youth. Look at this, brilliant. Simon! These comments! Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But it is quite common, going back onto the topic of it, you know, I go to my local city, or if I visit my friends, you just walk in the town, you just smells of weed. Is Passenger Escobar on board today? No, he doesn't fly Outback Airways Classics, he only flies the 737. Unbelievable. I used to smoke cigarettes many years ago. When I turned 16, you could still legally buy cigarettes. It was just sort of a done thing, and I was in a group of friends that smoked. And then when I started my operator, I was still smoking, and then I lived in Spain for a year, and where it's always sunny all the time, and you know, it was just nice to light one up. But yeah, I quit in 2013 when I moved back to the UK. Who would have thought, as we've gone from talking about aviation flight civic to smoking? Campfire still smoke cigarettes, obviously not on the aircraft, but no, a number of crew members smoke. Not allowed electronic cigarettes either, but they, you know, most people, just like passengers on a plane, can hold off until the end of their duty or end of their flight. One thing though, just talking about COVID there, Alexander Woods, I caught COVID just about 2 weeks ago now, and it hit me very quickly. I went from literally feeling fine 1 hour to 1 hour later being bedbound with a fever, and I did lose my sense of smell for about 4 or 5 days. And for the first 2 days, I lost my smell, and I mean completely lost it. I couldn't smell anything, but there was this sort of faint. It smelled like cigarette smoke. One of the other members had exactly the same symptoms. He used to be an ex-smoker. I wasn't, you know, a big smoker, but I could just smell. It smelled like an old pub from like the 80s or 90s, or just this very faint cigarette smoke. It was awful. Obviously, thankfully, I didn't lose my sense of taste much. I did a little bit, but I think it was more to do with the fact I lost my sense of smell. But it came back very quickly as well, so that's interesting. Yeah, in Canada and the US, isn't cannabis legal now? There's certainly a lot of stuff on social media about it. Ganja. Oh dear. Right, where's Venezuela? I think this will be the first ever time on a live stream. Oh no, have we flown into Caracas before? I don't know if we have been to Venezuela in a live stream, but it is coming up on the horizon shortly. 70 miles to the VR, so it's at just under 9 minutes. And the Felis 747-200 is performing brilliantly. Navigraph, see where we are. Happy Juliet Golf is on this island actually. Curaçao. Approaching South America. Don't do many streams in South America. Generic pilot 1, my sense of smell and taste doesn't feel as strong as it was before COVID, interestingly. Now, I tested negative now, but I do have this sort of croak, or certainly in the morning I'm very bunged up. But so I've been to work since. I was absolutely fine. Nicholas, how long is this flight? Total duration 2 hours 20 minutes. We've been exactly airborne for 1 hour, so about 1 hour and 20 minutes to go. Jessica, on this question, as a visibly LGBTQ individual, what would happen if I was on a flight that was diverted to a country that has laws against my existence? Absolutely no idea, Jessica. Really wouldn't know. Thankfully in Europe, obviously, Europe's been very open to the LGBTQ community, but I couldn't tell you. I really don't know. Typically, I lost my taste buds too. They're in a jar somewhere around here. Unbelievable. A man for esports man who really wants this aeroplane. Wishab, which flying club are you from? Now, I did my private pilot's license at Fenland Airfield in Lincolnshire, Echo Golf Charlie Lima. But I haven't flown a light aircraft for 12 years, 13 years. Well, I've been up in one, but my single engine piston rating expired over a decade ago. Straticos, what's your drink of choice on a night out? I'm not a big beer drinker, funny enough. I do like a beer, especially in the summer. I'm more a cider man, but I do like, you know, everyone knows here what I like. Captain Morgan, like a little bit of rum. I'm not a big drinker, really. I don't drink as much. You know, when I was sort of 18, 19, like anyone, really, just to go out and, you know, smash a lot, but those years are long gone. But yeah, love rum. Sky says Jete. Noah, thank you very much for your $5 donation. Streamlabs seems to be a bit slow. I can see the donations come up here, and it sort of pings up after a minute or two. So I'll wait for it to be read out, because it's always amusing. Yeah, Jamal, you got it right. If you find yourself in that type of situation as a gay person, you just keep quiet. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a difficult situation.
50, 40.
Cheers, Noah.
30,
Thank you very much
20,
for your $5
10.
donation. Let's listen into this.
Let's hope you didn't go from smoking cigarettes to rolling doobies, smirking face. Weed laws vary from state to state in the US, Cap. Glad you're feeling better.
Thank you very much, Noah, for the $5 donation. Very kind. Rolling doobies, going with the old slang terminology here. Unbelievable. Very interesting. So it varies from state to state in the US. Glad you're feeling better. Well, I have no intention ever to smoke anything like that. And if I was stupid enough to do it, obviously I'd lose my job if you got caught. So it's not worth doing. Now, very interesting. If it's legal in certain states in the US and is it Canada and other places in the world, I mean, what's the situation then? Obviously, you can't fly under the influence. I mean, in the UK, it's taken very seriously. I mean, you lose your driving license if you've been smoking cannabis and you're testing positive for that. But yeah, interesting, very interesting conversation. 0321 Short is quoting Pirates of the Caribbean. At least said Carrots of the Caribbean. I don't know why I said that. Generic, what is your favourite single engine GA aircraft? Mine is definitely the PA-28. I'm a Cessna fan. I love flying both PA-28 and the 152, 172. Always prefer the Cessna because of the visibility. I found it a little bit more stable. Anyway, we're approaching land. In fact, it's a little bit cloudy here over north coastline of Venezuela. I can't see anything, unfortunately. There is a little bit of land coming into view there, though. Look. Brett, speaking of smoking, can you smoke either cigarettes or e-cigarettes on your own private aircraft? Again, a good question. Probably could, but certainly not commercially. Do you have a favourite cider by any chance? I used to love Henry Weston's. Really, nothing. Is it Ballers? I drink quite a bit in the summer, but I really don't mind. My cider, I have quite a sweet tooth, which is why I quite like cider. But Ballers, I usually get some bottles and cans of. Greg, I had COVID sometime last year and lost taste and smell entirely, but I was exposed to COVID again yesterday, so hopefully it goes away quickly since my immune system has dealt with it before. I'm quite glad, Greg, because when I got it 2 weeks ago, it was the first time I caught it, so I have built up some natural immunity, which is nice. So yeah, I hope you have a speedy recovery anyway, buddy. We're approaching waypoint Papa Juliet Golf, which is INS waypoint number 3, I believe. Yes, it is. So after that, we'll be routing to the next one, which is Santa Barbara, crossing this lake here. Got my atlas out. It's Lago de Maracaibo down there. Large lake. Next course will be 234 outbound. Sort of set that, but we're using INS, so it makes absolutely no difference what you have up here. Is it hard to use the nose wheel tiller? When I became a captain, started my command upgrade, BX7 IOS, does take a little bit of getting used to, but we're in sort of 2 or 3 sectors, you sort of get a bit more comfortable with it. what can be a bit difficult taxiing for the first time is sort of those tight spaces. We fly to some quite small airports with tight aprons where you have to kind of manoeuvre and self-position. You just got to be very aware, you know, of the wingspan, you know, just under 36 meters, and you've got to be really careful of those tight spaces, because if you hit the wing on anything, ultimately you're responsible. So that's the main thing whilst taxiing, and nailing that lineup when you have sort of your OPT performance, you're quite performance limited. There's a small lineup allowance, so when you line up, you want to do a nice sharp 90-degree turn, not sort of cut the corner and use up runway. So it takes a while to be able to judge crossing the centre line, doing a tight turn until a full left or full right, getting right on the centre line. But you get used to it. You know exactly what you need to do.
Well,
and it works quite well in the sim. Both the Zebra Mod and PMDG. Well, the PMDG, I think they've updated it. You can't get a full tiller input at the moment, which is a bit of a pain. But the mod does taxi nicely. Thanks for subscribing there, Kelvin Chris 360, doing well. 28 days toke to yoke. Generic Pilot 1 says the only Cessnas I've flown have been G1000s, which might be the reason I like the PA-28. And that's cheating. Anyway, look at this. We're directly overhead Papa Juliet Golf. Look at the fancy Navigraph charts. Yeah, you can see the INS has slightly drifted us off, but that's well within 10 miles. Look, 2 nautical miles, it's accurate, or approved up to 10 miles, I think. And you can see, look at the needle swinging round as it points towards the VOR. Excellent beam now. Let's see if we can see the airport below. There it is. Can't quite see the airport, it's under cloud. But we are now entering Venezuelan airspace. Time to do a fuel and time check. So 16.7, we should have been here after 1 hour 8 minutes. 1 hour 8 minutes on the time. We showed 22.8 tons of fuel. We took an extra 12, so we should have 34.5, about 34.5. We've got 34.9, so we saved about 400 kilos. We should have burnt 17.2. 4.2 times 3, 4, 8, 16, 20, 21 tons of fuel. Hey, no, hold on. 4, 8, 16, 20. So it's 20.8 tons of fuel. Ooh. Why is that saying we burnt so much extra? No, I'm adding this wrong. That's why 16. 16.8. So we saved about 400 kilos. Can't add. Fuel burns good. Next fuel and time check will be at Santa Barbara, I think it is. Sierra Tango Bravo. Which is in 30 minutes. And then once we get to Santa Barbara, we can start setting up for the approach. Yeah, 48, 12, 16. Thanks, Anitas. Just remember my 4 times table. Hey, long COVID. Captain, how long did it take for you to get used to the size of the 737? I mean, to feel the plane well. I remember I first flew the 737 on circuit training. The first thing you notice is how high you are. You're so used to being sat just above the ground in your Cessna, your general aviation aircraft, and you look out the flight deck window and you think, God, I'm so high. You look down, and obviously the 737 compared to aircraft like this, it's considerably low, but obviously a significant step up for a GA aircraft. That was the first thing I noticed. But the first thing, flying wise, was when I flew the aircraft, hand flew it in the circuit, all the flight directors off, is how good the full motion level D sims are at replicating the sort of sensation and feeling. It's not exactly the same, but in a way the real aircraft felt a little bit easier because of that seat and pants motion. The figures work really nicely, the pitch and power settings, but that was the first thing I noticed. I'm so high. I'm back to the weed topics. Unbelievable. Hi Matt Johnson, sorry I can't join the stream right now. Spent too much over the holiday period and need to get my finances to balance out for a month or two. Oh Matt, well, I'm guessing you're talking about becoming a member, or even perhaps donating. You will never see me on this channel ever ask for any donation or even force feed memberships on you. Membership's completely out of your choice of the members to join. I'm not one to sort of, I'm very fortunate that the channel does generate an income for me, and I'm very grateful for that. It allows me to do things in my life that I can really enjoy, but you'll never see me ever ask for money. I just want you guys, regardless of membership status, non-status, donate, don't donate, just enjoy the show. I enjoy streaming. The channel was 6 years old, by the way, yesterday. It's officially 6 years old. I enjoy doing what I'm doing, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it too. I've been simming since I was a young teenager, and it was flight simulation as a teenager. I was obsessed. I was at school with my little. We used to have a little school calendar. You know, you had your school diary to plan your homework and your lessons, and right on the back of it had a little. It was only an A5 book, had a little world atlas, and I scribbled lines all over this, planned my flights I wanted to do in the simulator. I wasn't allowed on the computer very long when I was a teenager, but I used to fire up FS 2002, FS 2004, when they all came out respectively, and plan my flights on my little atlas. And that sort of is how I got into simming at a young age, obsessed with it. Then I fortunately went to flight training. I sort of got into the right-hand seat of the jet, stopped it for a while, and then thought it'd be a good idea to maybe start a channel. It would be good fun to share what I've learned, and here we are now. Mario says, when do you calculate the VDP when it's not published in a non-precision approach? Depends on the SOPs of the company. Calculate the VDP? Oh, Mario, what terminology is this, VDP? I really don't know what you're referring to there. Sorry. I'll look it up. Visual descent point. Is the final approach fix? I've never heard of that. I've never heard of the term VDP. VDP is a point in terms of the pilot will descend below the minimum descent altitude, even if they can't see the runway. Never heard of that one before. Visual descent point defined. VDP is a defined point in the final approach course of a non-precision approach. I'm just reading about them. Don't descend. So I just know MDA. Don't go below the MDA. This looks like a US thing. This is definitely a US thing. Never seen that term. I did my CPL in the US and I never saw the term VDP. As far as I'm concerned, you have an MDA, you have certain approaches where you level off at the MDA and you have a missed approach point. But yeah, that's that one is unknown to me. Algorithm, thank you very much for joining the channel as a member. Glad you're enjoying the content. You get invited to the members only Discord. I hope you enjoy using the custom emojis in chat as well. As I mentioned to all the other members that joined, don't forget we're doing a members group flight on Sunday. It'd be great if you could join. It's all been organised. ATC's all sorted as well. So thank you very much and welcome on board. George threw on, yes, in Arizona we were told about VDP for MPAs. See, I did my CPL in Arizona, and I was... Yeah, I don't think I ever flew that. Well, I've never heard of it before. I like Sky's interpretation of the pronunciation. Well, JAL's public relations office have opened their ears right now. Well, I don't never know. I can guarantee I'll look that up in the manual. So we have our iPads, and basically every single manual is condensed into the into an iPad, into an app called DocuNet. So we can look up. It's great. You can look up a topic and you can find out all the information in all the manuals. There's something in the FCTM about it, but it's determination of a missed approach points, and that not a single one of my airline's manuals has VDP in it. It's in the flight supplement booklet, and it's in the abbreviation section, just saying it's visual descent point. That is it. Or Val de Pascura in Venezuela, bizarrely, where we're flying. Yeah, nothing at all. So I think that's probably a US thing. Larry Harvilla, can someone help me with invite codes for Discord? I see you've been a member for quite a while, and guys, if there's any members here and you're not in the members only Discord, feel free to email me at flightdecksim@gmail.com if you're stuck. Otherwise, what you need to do, if you go to Google, type in Discord YouTube synchronization and follow those steps, that will generate an invite for you to get into the Discord. It's fully tied in and synced with YouTube, so when you terminate your membership, I think you have until the end of the month, and then the server boots you automatically. But having a members-only Discord just makes it a really nice place. I'm sure the members will concur. I could not imagine having a public one. Not that general subscribers have any bad intentions, but no doubt there'll be some people out there who could join and just, yeah, I just like it as it is. Thanks, WWC, for getting the link. Hi, Fedora, just tuned in. Are we using the Siva or the fancy Liton, or is that the LTN, the GPS you're talking about? Not so sure, but yeah, we're using Siva today. Routing between waypoint 3 and 4. We just get it here. So between Papa Juliet Golf and Santa Barbara VOR. Overhead Venezuela. We have 23 minutes until we get to Santa Barbara. 187 miles to go. In fact, I'll tune up the Santa Barbara VOR, which is 14.9. Get rid of that. We are 183 miles away. So just to show you, we should be able to get the ident, but there'll be a lot of background static here at the range. It's actually not too bad. So Santa Barbara, Sierra Tango Bravo. So it's 3 dots, a dash, and a dash dot dot dot. So that's Sierra Tango Bravo. So we can turn down nav 1, and then nav 2 is still tuned to Papa Juliet Golf, which is behind us, the Caraco VOR, so you can tune in nav 2. So that was Papa Juliet Golf. I don't know Morse code, but it's on all the charts there. But yeah, it's really cool. In Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'd love to have the... We were flying the DC-3 yesterday, and we tried to listen to the Morse code for the ident, but it wasn't coming through. I don't know if that's modelled yet, the ability to listen in to any of that, those sort of navigation aids. Hey Captain, how do you calculate your best glide speed / angle? So typically an approach Clara is 3 degrees. And the easiest way to calculate your correct rate of descent, which is probably what you're looking for there, is 5 times your ground speed. It's very rough working out, but it's certainly accurate enough to accurately fly a descent rate. Obviously, most 95% approaches are 3 degrees, some are steeper. Great thing is most charts have, it gives you a table showing what your ground speed is and what the required rate of descent is to stay on the correct glide path. Taking into the glide path angle as well, so that's how we typically calculate it in real life. We don't need to; it's there for you. Regarding your best glide speed, I mean, an aircraft like this, if you had a dual engine failure, probably the clean speed's the VMD or minimum drag speed. Welcome aboard there, Devonar. Doing very well. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Have you tried the V-Skylabs DC-3 and X-Plane? They separated out from the C-47 and modernised it. Is that recently, Matt? I have flown the V-Skylabs DC-3 in X-Plane on a live stream. It was my first and only other time I did stream the DC-3, apart from the one yesterday. Hi George, I have an unrelated question. Doing a multi-engine IR in UK airspace, and I find one thing that keeps tripping up. How would you obtain the correct frequencies before flight in order to anticipate the handoffs? So you want to know what the next airborne frequency is. I mean, you could work it out on an en route chart, but I think you're probably overthinking that. If you can just wait when you get your handover, your next frequency, just jot it down as quickly as possible. And obviously you can sort of have the approach and tower frequencies ready to go as well when you approach an airport. That's what I'd recommend. Do you know when the FS Labs Concorde X will come to Microsoft Flight Simulator? No idea. ARC 0232. I think they're updating it for prepared at the moment. Thanks, subscriber there. Infinity Tube, welcome aboard, buddy. Canopy says, or Canop Key, Odaso, When ATC asks you to climb and maintain a certain altitude, are you required to use the fastest possible climb rate, or can you decide for yourself how much time you take to do so? Yes, so if you're told to climb and maintain, that's just a clearance to climb to your assigned level. And if there's no specific instructions such as best rate or, you know, be level within a set distance, you could just leave it at the econ climb speed. So VNAV in the 737 will pitch for the most economical climb speed. So 250 knots below 100 is obviously the restriction in Class A, B, C, and D is mandatory. And above 10,000 feet, we've climbed at the econ climb speed. Now, if ATC say climb, please be level within set distance or the shortest possible distance, you want to use max angle. That'll ensure you climb at the shortest distance. If they want you to fly in and be level in the shortest possible time, you want to fly your best rate, VY. And that speed, again, in the 737, you have the option to select best rate, best angle. That's the sort of instructions you get from ATC. MFDC3 exploring the Discord channel whilst watching the stream. Excellent. I hope you enjoy your time there. Feel free to tag me and DM me. One of the perks of the membership is, you know, I endeavour, when I'm quiet, most of the time I can do it, to respond to every single DM I get daily. And tag. You can tag me on Discord if you have any questions in the relevant channel. I do pride in doing that, and I always prioritise those before, say, comments on YouTube and social media or anything like that. The IPs are shocking. My instructors insist on loading the next frequency on the standby. If they insist on you in loading the standby frequency, George, have you asked them where's the best place to find it? That's a bit of a... See, that's funny you mention that, George. I flew many times with captains who actually didn't like you presetting the next frequency, especially, for example, when you contact tower. There was a captain I used to fly with. He said, "Oh no, don't," because I used to pre-tune ground, you see, in case, so when you land and we vacate, we can go straight to the ground frequency. But he was like, "Oh no, don't do that, in case you go around and want to have the approach frequency." So, because it was like, his argument was, go around high workloads, you want to have the frequency there ready. And I was like, "Oh, you know, no problem at all." So yeah, I mean, generally speaking, 90% guys will set the next one sort of tower, then ground, and approach, then they'll set tower and things. But en route, you don't know. Hi Matt, again, I've flown it once so far. The DC-3 isn't pressurised, so altitude limited, and it's easy to fly too high. Yeah, I think, is there any pressurised DC-3s? Because, yeah, the performance of it can easily get above 10,000 feet. Hello Taylor as well, you're dropping in to say hi. You're currently catching up on the DC-3 stream as well. Yeah, that was really good fun last night. Yeah, well, listen, I do that during the stream, it's quite useful. Right, approaching this lake, look. In Venezuela. Let's have a little look outside. That lovely AUF I downloaded, obscured by the cloud. This is Bing zoom level 16. Great to see a lot of people here during the stream. About 350 people are watching. It's barely evening time in the UK. Thanks for tuning in. Mikhail, do you know in advance which gate parking you'll be arriving at before you're on the ground, and how does that work? Occasionally, Michael. So we have an app on our iPad, a company-specific app called the EFL, Electronic Flight Log, and on that they'll assign your stand number. Now, typically, I'd say 80% of the time, you know, when you arrive to your duty, yeah, it will show you your stand number, so you can walk to the correct stand or the gate. And if it's not there, you can contact the handling agent. Just phone up the local number, and they'll tell you. Typically, it's not there, so when you land, you're not 100% sure where you're going. At large airports, though, airlines typically park at one terminal or one area, so you have a rough idea where you're going. But you can always contact the handling frequency, call ahead, and ask what stand you're on if you're really not sure. I sometimes do that at larger airports. Just to have a rough idea where I plan to vacate and taxi. You all know I get lost constantly while streaming. One with the captain who didn't set the ground frequency before touchdown is very good. Ground frequencies tend to be simple, almost always starting with 1 to 1. They do, yeah, there's a lot like that. Most of the time though, not always. Hi Andy, just watching during work today, 1 PM in Michigan. Crazy. Don't get in trouble. You're actually being quite productive for the stream in the background. We get some reassuring words from chat. Make sure you're working hard. Mark, do pilots get first class meals or economy? Well, I don't have that option at my operator, but yes, typically the onboard catering is available for crew, regardless. I'm quite happy doing what everyone else does and making my own lunch. I actually make my own lunch, take it to work. N2, what a bummer job is. I missed 4 N2 calls at Energy Start. We did say it
40,
4 times, N2. I'm
30,
doing well, buddy.
20.
Cheers, 2 tons.
10.
Have stream on in the background as well whilst working from home. No meetings are a bonus. Cheers, 2 tons. And thank you, Larry, for your donation.
$6.03 equals £5.
Thank you.
Thanks to the captain and several others for the Discord help.
Oh,
Continued good riddance to COVID. Plus 2 treats for Jack.
oh, thank you very much, Larry, for your $6.03 donation. You've worked out what that is in pounds sterling, which is very kind of you. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for your donation. And as I said, welcome to the Discord. I hope you enjoy your time there as well. Just for that, look, I'll fire up yoke cam and give you an update on Jack. Although I've got the cable in front of the camera. You see, he's fast asleep. Put him upside down. I can stretch it a bit lower. Oh God, I can't. Where's he gone? There he is. Oh, he's awake now. Jack, hello. What's this here? Look here, Jack. No, he's pooped because we went for quite a long walk today. He's quite happy on his bed. Oh, hello. Are you having a stretch? Look, having a stretch. Lay down then. Yeah, he's like me, disturbing him. There we go. Right. Let me put that back here. And reset that position, making me move yoke cam around all over the place. End up showing my ugly mug. Oh, that would be a shame. Right, there we go. Yeah, he's settled down again. Right, how's that position? Yes, looking good. Oh, he just shook his ears. I don't know if you heard that. Lay down then, buddy. Oh, he's on the move. Oh, he's doing a little. He's doing a little. You know how dogs do a little orbit, a little circle. This cleared up quite nicely. Explain, Lamina have done a good job fixing the clouds. They're considerably better. I'd say they're nowhere near as good as Microsoft Flight Sim's clouds, but there was a couple of months back, where everything was a gigantic CB. Talking about CBs, I did notice that there. That does look like maybe an isolated CB. I don't know. I have weather radar. I've not turned it on. Have they sorted out the weather? That was if I turn it on. So let's put that to normal, tilt +1, and turn on the weather radar, which is over here. Let's see if we can pick up that CB. It's painting something. If I put the tilt down, let's see if we can pick up any ground clutter. So if we go like +5 down, we should get a line. So this here is ground clutter from the weather radar. It's sort of like this sim that has sort of this modelling here. The weather radar used to work in X-Plane 11. So this is the ground return from the weather radar. We just put it to like -1, which is a typical tilt for the cruise. No, I think it's just a bit generic. It's certainly not picking up this large thing. This large thing over here would be a big blob. There we are. Craig, no, missed most of the stream. Well, good time to join in. We are just past the halfway point. We're starting our descent in around 25-30 minutes, I'd say. So actually a good time to join in. Hi, Metaxoid. How do you get rid of the overflaring during landing? Unfortunately, find my recent landing to be pretty floaty or worse, bouncy. Well, no, nothing wrong with a firm landing, Metaxoid. Far better than floating down the runway. Take a look at my landing tutorials. Been viewed a few times. So if you type in, it's actually in the original PMDG 737 in FSX, but nothing has changed. You can apply that to the PMDG 737 in Microsoft Flight Simulator or the Zebo Mod 737. Type in YouTube Flight Deck Sim 737 landing tutorial and it'll be the top video. J3, do you use the default weather in X-Plane? Those clouds look juicy. Yes, it's default weather. And it has improved significantly. There we are. approaching this giant lake in Venezuela. Let me get my atlas out, just to show you all why I referenced during the stream. Here's my pocket atlas. There we go. Flight deck to atlas. I've had this for years. It's got loads of notes on it and scribbles. This lake is called Lago de Maracaibo. Yes.
Welcome.
Excellent. Excellent use of the English language there. Thanks for subscribing there. Meh. Welcome, Meh. Love your name. Hope you're doing well.
Hello there.
Medic's on. Yeah, remember those tutorials? I guess I'll need to give myself a refresher. Yes, it's not very long. It's only about 6-7 minutes, but it will give you everything you need to start getting those buttery landings in your respective desktop simulator. Teton's things rendered at a distance still need work. I know it's a fine line between rendering and FPS and sims. Yeah, look at the distance. For me, I mean, I don't know if it's my build, but the Felis is very FPS friendly. I've been stuck at 60 FPS the whole day. I noticed last streaming though in X-Plane when we landed at dusk, we had a huge FPS hit. But I think that's a known issue, isn't it, for lighting in the sim at dusk and dawn and at night at airports. I was really struggling, but right now it's absolutely fine. Smooth as butter. Oh, I've just realised still got Navigraph up. Alright, over that gigantic lake though, this is Ortho 4XP. Oh, there's a ship down there. Oh, an aircraft carrier. You know what that means? No, not today. There's the 7-4 goes, and there is. Oh, we've got loads of ships to land on. We've got helicopter ships, or one we can land on a helicopter. There's an aircraft carrier there moving. You didn't know already, a stream we did divert and do a touch and go on the aircraft carrier. And we've done it in the Zebo Mod 737. Hello Meh, just found your stream through recommendations. I do have a question actually. Are pilots, when they practice on a flight sim, doing the whole flight or just specific parts? So are you talking about sort of using the sim in my free time just to practice parts or practice elements of flights? I don't generally do full flights unless preparing for a stream like I am today. Generally I don't use the sim for sort of fun either. I don't have much time available, so I do, as soon as I have any free time, you know, plan a stream based on sort of like what people have said in chats recently, what the members have said, destination suggestions or aircraft suggestions for the next stream, and go around that. But certainly when I became an SFI, what we call a synthetic flight instructor, 6 years ago, just when I started this YouTube channel actually, I jumped into the PMDG 737 for FSX and was using that quite a lot to actually practice some non-normal situations, things like trailing edge flapper symmetry, having a play with some systems just to sort of give myself before the sim session a bit of a sort of familiarity with the problem. And obviously desktop simulators are limited with regards to what they can do realistic wise, and you've got to always make sure that you don't get confused isn't the right word, but you've got to make sure that you spot the differences between a desktop sim and the real aircraft. But the desktop sims are very good at replicating real world procedures. Anyway, I hope that helps answer your question, man. Welcome on board. I'm very glad that my channel was recommended. Must be favouring the algorithm, whatever that thing works. But as I said, I'm just very happy for every single one of you to join and enjoy the videos. Adam, yes, we briefly touched on that earlier. Did you hear about the NOTAM computer server malfunction state state? Yes, I think the whole of the US was grounded at one point, wasn't it? That's crazy. Was it the A300 you ended up doing barrel rolls on the approach? Yeah, there was a crash with the system that powers the plane in the sim, and it completely went bonkers, and I had to land it with a mouse, and yeah, it ended up doing barrel rolls, but I actually buttered that. That's another good stream if you're up for a laugh. If you type in YouTube flight deck sim A300 belly landing, I buttered it. Crazy. Keith, what does NOTAM actually do, please? So NOTAM stands, I presume this is the fault that was going on in the US there, it stands for Notice to Airmen, and it's a sort of a text got Siri's going off at me. It says, Keith, what does no to actually say? What? NOTAMs are basically a way of providing information to pilots on things that need to be aware of, so things like Classic examples would be, say, if an instrument approach is not available, runway closures, taxiway closures. It's basically it's a text document or a digital text document which you can get through on your flight plan. I mean, let me show you an example if I remember to select no terms on SimBrief. Here, so here's some NOTAMs. I mean, these are company NOTAMs specific to SimBrief. Did I select NOTAMs on? I don't think I did. Here's the SIG weather chart. Yes, look at this. Isolated embedded CBs up to 45,000 feet. Wonderful. But yeah, it's basically a document that comes through explaining, you know, things that you need to be aware of. So airspace closures, taxiway closures, runway closures, are the most common reasons. Or there might be some country-specific procedures involving, you know, during the COVID pandemic, there's a lot of NOTAMs out associated with that. You were bigging pilot POV videos, that probably helps. Oh, interesting. North Gaming, hello everyone, he says, hope you're doing well. Clara Lingadu, Captain, what start approach are you doing now? We're not too far away from our destination, actually. In fact, we're 3 minutes away from our next VOR, Santa Barbara, Sierra Tango Bravo, so we'll put that on 14.9, 14.9. Now, I should think there's a approach that most of you would like me to fly. Anyone here familiar with Bogota? And I should think all of you here would like me to land on runway 32. 32 left or 32 right. Now, right now in real life, the wind is 0705, so it would be runway 13 in use. But I should think you'll want me to land on... sorry, 14. I should think you'll would like me to land on 32. I'll show you why. So let me just get the charts. What's the code? Sierra Kilo Bravo Oscar. Oh, why is that not working? Okay. So we have either the option. Tell me landing at 8,000 feet. Right. I'll answer this in chat. Would you like me to do a straight in? This would be the runway in use today. ILS 14 left or 14 right. I could do a straight in. ILS 14 left. Land on the runway. Or would you like me to amusingly attempt, because I can't fly any of the RNAV approaches on 3.2, they're all RMP, and the only approaches are these not prescribed to any runway approach, and this is the VOR Alpha, runway 32 left, where I've got to tune multiple VORs, descend to these altitudes, mandatory altitudes, and then fly on a heading as 139, intercept this radial, 094, 1,500 feet above the ground, disconnect at Usbin, and then hand fly on the 3-2 left. I fear if I do a poll, I think I know how this will go, and this is one of the most difficult approaches I've flown in a desktop simulator. I've done it 4 times, 3 of them, one of them I crashed, I didn't quite crash, I dropped a wing and stalled, nothing to say about that. The second one, I smashed it down so hard it said wasted. The third one was okay, and the fourth one I did today, I got terrain warning because I was doing 2,000 feet per minute. It is extremely difficult in a desktop simulator, and not only that, the Tobii eye tracker isn't working properly in X-Plane 12. It conflicts with the better pushback plugin, so I don't want to cause a crash, so I'm going to have to sort of, like I always have done, manipulate the mouse to look at it. So yeah, this is the one I'm going to attempt today. I'm going to stay on VATSIM. I will, if there is any ATC, request 3-2 left, and if he says can't do it, I'll disconnect, because I know you guys want me to fly this approach. I want to fly this one, but I'll fly this one for your amusement. Now, looking at the weather, the minimums, 9,800 feet, 1,500 feet of the ground. We need 8,000 metres. It's broken at 2,000 feet, so I'm going to come out the cloud 500 feet above the ground. And there's thunderstorms forecast, rain, towering cumulus, but the visibility should be in excess of 8,000 metres, so it should be all good. There we go. Too bad your plane isn't RNAV 1. No, we don't have a... We can't do... we can only do en route RNAV, unfortunately. Anyway, we've just passed over the St Barbara VOR. We're now inbound to Pi. It's 18 minutes away. Let me bring up Navigraph. And then 30 miles before Buv, we'll start our descent. In fact, our operational flight plan top of descent isn't that accurate because we've got a restriction to make at VULAB. So 30 miles from above, I need to start descent. We've got 140 plus about 60, it's about 200 miles till top of descent. We'll do a quick fuel check at Santa Barbara, we've just flown over it. So yeah, there's no point debating it. We're flying runway 32 with a tailwind. The surface wind right now is 070 knots, so it will only be a 3 knot tailwind. It's not like my ground speed will be 30 knots higher than my indicated airspeed because of the density altitude, but yeah, ground speed's going to be like 190 knots over the threshold. Anyway, Santa Barbara fuel check. 1 hour 40 minutes, 1 hour 41, 17.2 tons of fuel. We should have 29 tons with the extra fuel we took, 29.3, perfect. And what we got in the burn fuel, we got 5.5, so that's 11, 22, about 22.3 burnt, 22.8. So the fuel burn time, fuel on board is exactly as per the flight plan. Next VOI is Pi, 16.8. We're just using this as backup. It's tuned. Oh, it's not quite in range actually. 16.8. Have I got the right VOI frequency? Yeah, it's 16.8, but that's definitely not the right VOI. We'll just leave it on Santa Barbara on the other one there. Lining up those holes in the Swiss cheese. I know, quarter page. Yeah, so we're flying to Bogota, guys, in Colombia. Get this right. And the elevation is, what was it? 8,400 feet, okay. Extremely high, basically. It is right at the maximum landing altitude for the 737-800, for example. And the effect of high elevation, what it has on aircraft performance, be it a propeller, piston, turboprop jet, it is a huge degradation of performance. So your engines, they're producing less thrust, so your missed approach climb gradient, your ability to go around safely is reduced. Coming to the touchdown and landing, your ground speed will be considerably higher. So we've got to fly the same indicated airspeeds, but because the air is less dense, your true airspeed is going to be much higher, as will your ground speed. So that's an issue. So increased landing roll. Brakes are going to get a lot hotter as well because you're flying faster. So we're going to maximise all other stop and forcing, so max reverse thrust, and try and minimise wheel braking. We should be okay. It's a nice long runway here in Bogota. Less lift as well. So yeah, the aircraft performs very sluggishly, and the 200 exactly does as well. It wouldn't be a 20 knot tailwind, Keith. I mean, the wind is 0705, so we should be fine. It's a 3 knot tailwind. The brakes actually cool down quite quickly in the Felis. I've noticed, not really noticed that or monitored it, to be fair. Hugo Vanes, have you streamed any flights based in Nepal? Would certainly be enjoyable seeing you land the Twin Otter in Lukla. Completed it, mate. And let me just get the handy little map for you. So this is a map of every single stream to date. You can see exactly where we streamed. They're all hyperlinked to the actual stream as well. Map of the world. As you can see, Europe has almost disappeared under the lines, but yeah, I'll add this later on this evening after the stream. Perfect. But yeah, we'll start setting up for the approach shortly. Well, I mean, there isn't a huge amount to set up because there's no FMC to load information in. Everything will be a bit rough and ready. Brake temp indicators in the furthest position. Yeah, we're going to have to get the engineer to jump in and do that. Where is it? Over here, isn't it? See what temperature they get to today. So we're doing no joke. I will not butter this today. It'll be a firm landing. It is. This approach is. I've tried it. I practiced it for this stream. But it is not easy. It's really hard. Well, I'll do my best for you. Philippe, thanks for your donation. Thanks for subscribing as well, Jason Heitman. He's donated again $5. Before you donated, you said you were getting married. You've now come back to the stream to donate and say you're now married. Is that actually the truth? That's the first ever time during a live stream someone's got married during that period. Amazing. I can't believe it.
Let's go.
Philippe, if you are legit serious, that's hilarious and amazing, unbelievable. Why is it not pinging up for you though? I don't know. I can see it coming up there, but it doesn't ping up for you specifically. There we go.
50, 40,
done it manually.
30, 20,
Congrats, Philippe.
10,
I'm back from the wedding. I'm legally married now.
Unbelievable. Hope your wife doesn't find out. Ooh. That's dedication. Cheers, buddy. Congratulations as well. So funny. No words. Ah, dear. Right, I think we've actually entered Colombian airspace now as well. Just freezes my eyes. Oh dear. Well, there's that lovely ortho. Don't do many external views, do we? The real MVP. Hi, Mark McKay. How far in advance do you have to report to the airport? For example, a 1 PM departure. So my operator, our report time is minus 45 minutes before off-block time. Typically, most guys are there 50-55 minutes before. But yeah, that's the report time. Then we report usually at the aircraft and just go straight from there. What a beautiful livery. I've enjoyed flying this and preparing for this stream. And I can see X-Plane 12 further developing. Last time we streamed it in the Zero mod, we obviously had a couple of issues with compatibility. The default pushback tug was changing frequencies for the ground frequency and causing issues with X-Pilot. Caused crashes, very frustrating. And the Zero mod was handling really nicely, but once we got below sort of the flat 5 speed on approach, it started handling quite badly. Very, flying aircraft like this, I don't think, well, there's not a better classic Boeing jet than this, bar the Fly JSIM aircraft. Even though the 737-200 does handle like a pig and the elevator isn't very good. I really hope Fly JSIM do port their aircraft over to X-Plane 12. So you brief for the crew room way before that. Well, actually, since COVID, we actually brief on the aircraft. So we actually report to the aircraft now, and every airport's slightly different, but we'll brief in the sort of galley. That's how we do it. When you brief for the return flights or other flights in the day, is it all done before you get to the aircraft? So typically James MP will all meet on the aircraft, myself, first officer, 4 cabin crew, or if there's supernumerary crew, additional crew as well. And the cabin crew have a separate brief they do themselves, and then the captain will brief all the crew on the day, usually after talking to the first officer first. So the cabin crew, all they really want to know is, are we going to have a smooth ride? Are we forecasting turbulence? What's the weather like at destination? Is there a risk of diverting? Any defects to the aircraft? Very rarely are, but there might be things in the cabin they need to be aware of. They have a separate defects logbook. The operator workout also have sort of memos that come out reminding crew of certain situations to be aware of, so certain briefing points. For example, inadvertent slide deployment. Very, very, very rarely happens. I don't know anyone it's happened to personally, but let's say it happens in the industry somewhere, they'll probably want us to highlight that. So it'll be like, guys, be extra careful with the arming the slides and things like that. So there's sort of like a highlighting key points there. And then obviously with the first officer, the captain, we're briefing in the flight deck. We're sort of talking about the first sector primarily, how much fuel we want, is there any NOTAMs, weather issues that's going to affect us. I'll check the tech log, check if there's any defects, the MEL, if there are defects, make sure we can dispatch legally as well. We'll only typically talk about the first sector, and then subsequently the next sectors we can talk about them either en route or on the turnaround. Right, so we are only... Actually, no, we need to go inbound to Pi, so actually we top descent soon after this. We need to start setting up, or certainly talking about this approach then. So I think it's pretty settled. We're going to plan to land on 3-2 left, okay? It's not the runway in use in real life, but it's certainly the gnarly approach you all want me to see and fly. So what I'm going to do is get rid of... That's for 1-4 left, so we'll get rid of that one. And we're going to fly this arrival for 3-2 left. There, and why have I got both these here? Just got 1-4 left, get rid of that one. Oh yes, sync concurrent flight. Off. And then we've got the VOR chart. Perfect. So, let's firstly talk a little bit about the arrival. Okay, so let me just overlay this on the chart. We're currently routing direct to Pi, and the first restriction we need to comply with is at Vulan. Look, we've got to between 15 and 14,000 feet. I'm going to aim to be at 14,000 feet. We do have this sort of level segment here for a short while. Let's just do it airspace constraints. So how do we work out our top descent point? So Vulan, we need to be at 14,000 feet. We're currently at 36,000 feet, so we need to lose 22,000 feet from our cruise level to get to the 14,000 feet at or above restriction. So 22,000 feet, what we do is times that by 3. That's 66 miles from Vulan we need to initiate our descent. Let's round it up to 70. So 70 miles, 35 miles from above, and then 35 miles from into above. So you can see there's 35 miles. So when we're 35 miles from above, that's 70 miles from Vulan. So minus 35 above, we'll start our descent. That's how I've calculated top of descent. I hope that makes sense. If you head over to my Instagram with a pinned comment, we'll show you. You can see I've got a picture of our routing with a little description and explanation of how I've calculated the top of descent point. Once we get then to Vulan, we'll tune up that VOR first initially. Buvis 16.2 outbound 254, and we'll keep going until we're 35 miles away. Prior to Vulan, we'll set up the next VOR, which is Am Al-Belma, and we'll intercept the 225 inbound, the 045 radial, until we get to Dorsa. We'll know we'll be at Dorsa because that's 19.5 miles away from the VOR. That's what we'll do here. Oh, Philippe's coming in again.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Cheers, Philippe. You just got married for your $5 again.
You all are welcome to a beer. Just visit Stam and PM me before doing so.
Brilliant.
PS, they have a brand new IFA approach.
So SDAM, where's that? I don't know where that is, Philippe, but I'm sure all of us will be flying in and grabbing a beer off you from the bar, from your wedding. Amazing. Thank you very much for another donation, buddy. Congratulations once again getting married. As mentioned, once we get to Dorsa, 19.5 from the Bogota VOR, we're going to make a left turn inbound from there to Bogota. Now, I know what I need to do. The green line is based off the other approach, which is why it's not matching the chart. So let me just try and remember how to adjust the routing here. There we go. So we need to options, change 3 to left, add to route, and then we need to change this arrival, change. Oh, which one was it? Oh, that's complex. I can't remember if it was which one was it we wanted. It was the blue one. Vulan 3 Foxtrot, I think. Is that the correct one? Let me have a look now. Let's overlay that. That's better. So from Dorsa to this point here, and then we're going to go inbound on the 133 inbound towards the Bogota VOR until we get to Amvez. Now Amvez is the initial approach fix. We're not going to go all the way to Bogota. So once we're 7 miles away from Bogota, we'll be at Amvez, and then we're going to transition onto this approach, and this is how it starts. Look at Amvez. So we're going to be at 14,000 feet for that entire arrival. All the way here because of that restriction. 14,000 feet mandatory at Dorsa, 14,000 feet mandatory at Amvez, brings speed back to 230 knots. Once we're at Amvez, we're going to fly inbound to the Socha VOR, 1086, 163 inbound, that's the 343 radial. 14,000 feet mandatory until 11 DME. We're then going down to 13,500. Bear in mind, we're only going to be at 4,500 feet above the ground here, to Nibka. Mandatory 13,500 feet. I'm going to be so busy here. Another left turn. This is onto a heading of 139 until we're 4 DME from Sir at 180 knots. And after Nipka, we can descend to 12,500 feet and then level at 10,300 feet 4 miles away. We're then going to maintain 10,300 feet, intercept 094 outbound, bring the speed back to max 165 until 5 miles. And then at 10,300 feet, 5 miles from Soa, we're just going to make a gentle descent to 9,860 feet, or 9,900. We need 8,000 meters of visibility here, guys, so we should be fine for that. And once we get to Usbun, which is the missed approach point, if we're not visual at 8 miles, we must go around, make a left turn, fly outbound 027 towards the Zipaquira VOR, and if we lose that VOR, with that one not being operational, we can make a turn towards the Bogota VOR direct here on the 119, so we're going to go here up to 14,000. So yeah, it should be fine. I'm going to have to manipulate this autopilot like a madman, and then this bit has to be hand flown. And what I'm going to do is just do a gentle descent, aim to be around 500 feet AGL, try and find the Pappies. Guys, this is not easy. I'm going to probably get a sync rate warning. I'll try and keep my rate of descent below 1,000 feet, but because my ground speed is going to be so high because of the density altitude, my ground speed is going to be about 180, 190 knots, so I need to be doing about 1,000 feet per minute to stay stabilised on the Pappies. That means I will get sync rate warnings. It seems to trigger terrain warnings in the Felis as well. So in reality, these are things we do obviously comply with. If we get a terrain warning, we do a terrain escape manoeuvre. It is impossible for me to not get these in the Felis, so we'll get terrain warnings galore. But we'll just have to continue through them. There's nothing I can do. So we're going to go initially after Usbun North, try and land on 3-2 left and go from there. And that's it. This is a VOR approach. It's the only one we can fly onto 3-2 left. All the rest are RNAV base. So we'll set the minimums. 9860. I can't really set that. So what I'll do on the altimeter, I'll put a little bug. Oops, wrong one there. 013. Oh, I can't even change the minimums here. Well, it's 1,500 feet AGL. You would never use radio altimeter for this, but it does work quite nicely on the test sector. So that will be around 1,500 feet AGL at minimum, so you get the correct call out. So yeah, that is it. Survival rate of approach 20%, I'd agree. We'll be landing on 3-2 left, hopefully. It's a very long runway, at least 3,800 metres. Let's have a look here. 3,800. I just want to make sure where's our INS there? We're at 8.5. We're just past the VOR here, so I just want to make sure we tune up the next VOR above 16.2, because I don't want to miss top of descent here. 85 miles. We've got about 50 miles till top of descent. Let's have a look at the landing performance. Airport. So 3,800 metres. Let's go here to the landing performance calculator. Make sure you can see this and the runway. So landing performance, landing weight from sim. So 254 tons at the moment. Let's say we're approaching pi. So 14.1. This says we're going to land with 11. So we're going to probably burn 4 tons. The actual landing weight, let's say about 250. Landing CG is fine. We'll use flat 30. Runway length is 3,800. Elevation is 8,400. Runway heading is 320. Slope, I don't know. Runway condition, let's say it's damp. Well, wet. Oh dear. Wet we can't land apparently. Temperature is 16 degrees. 1027. And the what's this one? The surface wind is 0705. There we go. So here's all the landing performance data. So based off this, we'll set the speed, the V speeds. Just get rid of Navigraph here. So if I press set the bugs, you'll see all the bugs change. Boop. I hope. There we go. The bugs have now been updated to represent the correct speeds. And order brake minimum is 3,300 metres, so that should be fine. Kilo 3 is 2,500. It's a bit ambitious. I don't want to overheat the brakes. Oh, I just realised you can't see the chart. So I'm going to plan to vacate at the end and use order brake minimum and max reverse thrust just to keep the brake temperature sensible. That should be enough. 3,327. We can always override it. So order brake minimum, and we'll use speed brake in second to 10 reversed. That's it. 35 miles from the VOR. We'll start our descent. We've got 68 miles to go, about 30 miles to run. Perfect timing. I hope that brief makes sense. It's going to be... oh, I'm going to be so busy. So busy. Alex, I see the no butter excuse list has been presented to the audience. That was a long enough explanation, I feel. Frankfurt's a very long runway, but you're a very big aircraft. The airport is very high, but that's precisely why they have a long runway. I don't believe it's not butter landing. Yeah, we definitely will need that one primed and ready. I think it won't be one of these.
Exotic butters.
It won't be one of these.
Like butter.
I've got plenty of butter sounds effects. Just wanted to tell you good luck. We're all counting on you. Brilliant. And long COVID. But the Felis 747 and the Sim has been flawless so far. Excellent. Bogota butter. Well, I have not managed it in the test sector. 20 miles till top of descent. You can see the terrains are already getting high here. The ortho's not the best, there's a lot of clouds. Hi Zitchy, what are your settings in X-Plane 12? They're pretty high. Not the highest, but certainly good enough where it looks good. Remind me after landing, I'll try and set it up. Oh yeah, don't forget the weather. We are forecasting Tarranculumas, CBs. It currently is light rain there as well. Bogota. No, I'm not bogering today. But don't forget, I've got an extra hour's worth of fuel, so if the approach is hugely destabilised, I will go around and we'll have another go. What is the V-speeds for landing? Here they are. So final approach speed will be 144 knots, and VRS 139. But our true airspeed will be much higher, as will our ground speed with that tailwind. Can't believe we can be doing this approach. .48 miles to run. I should bring all the charts up on here. And the arrival was the Vulam 3 Foxtrot. There we are. So that's the first restriction we're going to make. Atropa 14,000 at Vulam at 250 knots. And Navigraph I'll try and make reference to as well. We'll probably switch. You can see the INS has drifted slightly off course, but that's quite normal for INS. So what I'm going to do is tune up the above VOR now on box 1 and 2, 16.2. Check the ident whilst I have capacity. I will not be able to do this on the approach. So looking for Bravo Victor Sierra, so dash dot 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 dash dot 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 dash. That's Bravo Uniform Victor. There we are. Turn off the identifier. 35 miles, so here we go. 37, I think it's a good time to start descent. So what we're going to do is preset 14,000 feet. We're in out hold. Top of descent, ladies and gentlemen, in chat. So I'm going to disconnect the auto throttle. Auto throttle disconnected. It is disconnected now. And then we're going to go to indicated airspeed hold and slowly reduce the thrust to idle. And the aircraft's going to maintain the present indicated airspeed. Why are we climbing? Don't know why we're climbing there. Whee! I guess because we're a little bit late losing the thrust, but there we go. And we'll be at the VOR Buvis in 5 minutes. Get the next radial tuned up on box 2, 254 for the course. We'll turn at around probably 5 miles or so to intercept the next course. Reading the Morse code from your socks is easier than this, only dots. Brilliant. Oh yeah, I need to remember to select the reserves on as well now. Is there a descent checklist? Don't think it sort of is fully compliant, but we'll... Yeah, I sort of want to be done at 15,000 feet. Clouds look a bit ominous ahead. Ryan. Yeah, speed. Well, the autothrottle's off at the moment. We're sort of pitching, I guess, for about 250, 260 knots. I just want to actually increase that slightly. I want to press outsell as well. Just going to go to around 3.5 because I want to descend at about 280 knots. It's 250, 260, 270. Local CBs, lovely. The radar. Oh, it's picking up something over there. Look, oh, that could be a mountain. There we are, almost at 280. So we'll go back to indicated airspeed holds. The aircraft's now going to pitch for the present speed. Hey, buddy. And there's 30,000 feet. 3 minutes till above. Hey, what's this chart? No charts, haven't I? Oh yeah, well, but for them we're going inbound here at 254. But Bub's about here. God, this is gonna be busy. Ugh. I'm already stressed. I'm already nervous. So once we pass Bovis, we can use the INS to get an update for the ETA. There's waypoint alert, so we're approaching the Bovis waypoint. So what we're going to do is go to maintain heading, which is 210 degrees. Heading selects, tune up the next VOR, which is 16.2 in the course, which is 254. And we're just going to fly directly to the VOR. The INS is slightly off there, so let's go on a heading of about 240. We're into cloud here, so we'll pop on the engine anti-ice. Total air temperature is -2. It's quite warm actually. Oh, so I've got low N1, so I need to add a bit of thrust here because there's insufficient thrust for the engine anti-ice. It's an old aeroplane. There we go. So that's just to ensure that we have sufficient bleed pressure for engine anti-ice. Hold on, I think I've turned slightly. Yeah, we're just going to fly over the VOR, so let's cut the corner slightly. We're going to go right over the VOR here at 7 miles, but that is the new radial we want. Just wait until we go overhead the VOR first. Oh look, it's raining. Oh! I'm not going to see this runway until 500 feet above the ground, and then I'm going to hand fly it. Unbelievable. Button, I'll give 5 members. Although no pressure. Unbelievable.
50, 40, 30.
Right, just waiting until
20,
we fly over the VOR.
10.
I'm not using this at the moment. And what? Oh, he set the course anyway.
_FT2 sputter : and I will gift 5 memberships.
Thank you very much. I'll see what I can do. No promises. Thanks a lot, Aditus. Hand fly for the initial approach fix. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Honestly, it's just too much. Right, there we are, past the VOR. So I just want to get slightly to the left here, recapture it on the other side. There's the tail of the needle, so go to Vorlock. Nav's armed. Oh yeah, I forgot you don't get a heading bug actually, because of just turn right here. Why is nav not engaged? Oh, it's because I'm on INS, that's why. Actually, why did I... hold on. I need to go to radio. I was wondering why nav didn't... I was wondering why the HSI was a bit off. No, I need to turn right. I forgot to go to rate. I was still on INS. Anyway, we need to be level in 5 minutes at 14,000 feet. We still need engine anti-ice on. We're doing 2,000 feet per minute, so 8,000 feet. Yeah, we should be fine for that restriction. I'm just getting back onto that VOR. There we are. That should come in nicely. Joda, hey Captain, weather's actually quite good right now in real life. Probably will reflect at 1900 Zulu. Let's hope so, because it can be a bit late updating. Yeah, light rain broken at 2000. Ugh. Right, nav's engaged now. And next will be 35 miles from Bovis. We'll need to fly towards the Ambalema. So I'll put 12.7 on Jim's side. And the course is from Vulam. Radio 045, it's 225. Still need engine anti-ice on. What's the total there? Oops, what did I just change? What have I done here? Just put that normal, there we go. 10 degrees, so we can take the engine anti-ice off. I can reduce the thrust to idle. We've got to be level, remember, at 14,000 feet, or between 14,000 and 15,000 feet at Vulam. So we've got 4,000 feet to go, 3.6 minutes. So what I'll do is go back to vertical speed. I'm going to select speed hold, which it's already on here, and we're going to bug 250 knots, which is the speed we need to do. Select 250, and we're just going to do about 1,500 feet per minute now. 1,500 feet per minute. So the autothrottle's now going to maintain 250. So we're not on INS anymore. Well, the INS is still giving us... Oh, I just saw lightning. I just saw lightning. I just hope X-Plane 12 doesn't do its crazy weather thing. Oh, no. Dodgy weather radar. Right, next is after Vulam intercepting this radial. Ugh. And we're going to be at 14,000. Well, we've just got to be below 15,000 feet for this restriction, which we're going to make.
Minimums. Approaching minimums.
Welcome aboard, Keith Martin. Glad you enjoyed the content as a subscriber and now become a member, and you'll get invited to our members-only Discord. I hope you enjoy using the custom emojis in chat. Thank you very much for the support. Right, so remember, the elevation is 8,000 feet, so we're only 8,000 feet above the ground here. We'll do the post-cruise checks. It gets a bit confusing, remember. And seatbelts and fasten seatbelt sign is on. Approaching the restriction altitude. Let's do the descent checklist as well.
Approach checklist, please.
Ooh, they're coming out of the clouds.
Control the harness.
Check.
So we're going to maintain heading now.
And no smoking signs.
Next,
On.
VOR 12.7.
And the ice.
Off.
Exterior lights.
Course is
Minimums.
225.
Minimums. Approaching minimums.
Radio.
And
INS
we'll arm
switch.
Vorlock. There we are.
Radio.
Flight
It's already
director
turning
computer
for the next
selected.
VOR.
Check.
Brake
So it's
pressure.
already turning here, look.
Check.
And we've got to be level 14,000 feet at Dorset. So we made a restriction at 14 to
Down to level
15,000 feet. And we've got to maintain 14,000 all the way till Dorset. Welcome Philippe as well. Glad you joined the content. You also get invited to our members-only Discord. Thank you very much for the support. Outsell is on. Oh, it's already gone off vertical speed, so we're just levelling off here. 250 knots, the autothrottle's maintaining. Out the cloud we come. Again, this is the ortho. It's just a bit crappy with the clouds. This is where Microsoft Flight Simulator is so much better, graphics-wise. There we are, levelling off at 14,000. Next then is we're going to wait until we are intercepting the radial inbound to Bogota 13.9, Bogota 13.9, and the course is 133. Let's have a look here. 133. Max 230 knots as well, so we'll start reducing. Guys, there's no ATC. I think I'm just going to go off line here. There's going to be problems otherwise. Right, next VOR is tuned. It's going to be quite a steep turn. There we are, 14,000. And we are inbound on this 225, the 045 inbound. We're just going to get ready for that steep left turn towards Amvez, max 230. What's a clean speed, actually? Spoilers I need to arm for this checklist. How do I... Ugh.
Armed. Hold on.
It's not actually deployed them. No. That's good.
1, 3, set and cross.
Oh
check.
no, I've not set the Q and H.
Landing data,
Oh,
EPR,
that's not
and
very good, is it?
Set and cross.
Oh
Seat
dear.
belt and shoulder harness. Check.
3032.
panel.
That's really poor.
Check. Fuel heat.
Thankfully it's higher pressure, so I'm actually
This.
not so low. 3032. Where were you in chat? Where were you? Testing you all and you failed. Fuel heat needs to come off as well. Speed's 250 knots, that's fine. Fuel heat come off.
Off.
Plenty of gas.
EPR computer. This.
Oh yeah, what's a go around?
Go around. Cabin out.
Look at this weather!
Circuit breakers. Check.
Oh dear.
Approach checklist completed.
This is going to be gnarly. Anyway, we're back where we need to be. Inbound here, and we're going to get ready to intercept the radial inbound towards Bogota. 14,000 feet we need to maintain all the way until Amvez. Max 230, so I'm going to start slowing down now. Look at this weather. Next is landing checklist. Well, yeah, what did I want? Performance calculations. The clean speed's 239 knots. So I'm going to have to select flap 1 at 15 miles from bog. So remember the tail of this needle, inbound's going to be 133. So once this head of this needle's on 133, it's on 150. We'll make that left turn. I have to undo my cardigan slightly. Yes, I'm wearing a cardigan. You heard it. God, this is atrocious. Anyway, I've got the little aeroplane which is helping me. Right. We'll start making that turn shortly. In fact, I'm going to go to heading now. Match the heading bug. Course is 133. And the inbound, the VOR, sorry, is 13.9. Right, perfect. I'm going to start a little intercept now.
50, 40.
Get ready to arm. That's
30,
very generous of you,
20,
Torin 4x4. Thank you very much for the $31. And all these references to CRM.
Is that Swiss cheese I smell in the cockpit?
Stop. We'll see how we get on. Thank you very much. That's very generous, you Torin 4x4. Who's writing the accident investigation right now? Right, 230 knots now, so I'm going to have to select flap 1 as well. 230, because the clean speed was 239. So here we go, flap 1.
Flaps 1.
Mental pilot's already scripted. Nav engaged. So you can match the heading now to the course, 133. I'm turning the music off. No more music. Right, so inbound now towards Bogota. Amvez is 7 miles away. So once we're 7 miles away, that's only 9 miles from now, we start the next part of the approach. So we need now Socha 1086. We'll give that to Jim. 1086. Thrust is being added there. And then it is the 163 inbound. So 163. So Jim's got all the guidance his side. There we are. Radial's coming in nicely. Should have listed alternate due to low TAF confidence, bro.
50, 40,
Cheers, Noah.
30,
I have an alternate.
20,
the alternate's Medellin.
10.
10 tons we need to get there. 10 tons to get to Medellin.
Should have listed an alternate due to low TAF confidence.
Oh, I'm really
bro.
nervous. DME1 then, we're waiting until that says 7 miles, okay? In fact, we're pretty much all on the heading now. So I'm going to go back to heading select. Next VOR, 1086. We're at 230 knots. And 163 for the course. The instrument comparator not happy. So we're just going to wait until the HSI comes aligned. And then we've got to be mandatory 14,000 until 11 miles from SOA. Still got to maintain this altitude. I can't pronounce any of this stuff. Don't forget the elevation here. We are only 6,000 feet above the ground. In IMC. Right, engaging forelock. Nav's already engaged. There's the next turn. Jet at 230 knots, then it's 215, so I'm going to reduce the speed further to 215 knots. Flap 1's 219. So let's bug 215. and we'll go to flat 5. Maximum flat 5 speed's very high.
Flaps 5.
250 knots. Well, same as 737 actually. Does Bogota have Cat 3? Yes, on runway 14, the approach I want to fly, but none of you lot let me. Right, we're now past the initial approach fix. No fun, no fun, no fun. I'm still in complete IMC. Mountains just below us. Ah, look at it, look at it! It's the terrain. Oh dear. Oh, I've got lightning going off. Oh dear me. Right, next thing is going to be 11 miles away, 14,000 feet. Mandatory. And then 13,500 at Nibka. Okay, so I'll preset that now. I'm going to go to outhold, 13,500. Altitude alert, that's fine. As soon as we pass 11 miles, we'll start that descent. Oh dear. 11 miles is the next thing. Worth a quick flyby. We're coming out the cloud. Oh, that's the worst can happen. So just to show you, look, our indicated airspeed is 220. True airspeed is 267, which is our ground speed. That's because of the density altitude. Still waiting for 11 miles. We're 14 now. Going here, the thrust is constantly changing. Look at the terrain! I could still be an IMC here. And we're going into cloud again. That blinking light is a nice touch. Oh, is that the altitude alert? Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. 11 miles from SOA. Starting our descent to be at 13,500 feet. Another mile to go. Right, I'll select vertical speed now. Out select. And down we go 1,000 feet per minute to 13,500. Auto throttles back in. Now, there we go. Trips things all the time. Whoa. So 13,500 at Nibka, and then we're going to go on to heading of 139. Going to slow down further now to 180 knots, and flap 10 is 179. So I'm going to go flap 10 now.
Flaps 10.
This is going to be gnarly. So there's 13,500, that's the mandatory restriction at Nibka. And then we're going to go down, as soon as we pass Nibka, down to 12,500, then 10,300. So I'm just going to go out, hold again. I'll set 10,300. Oh, this is hard work. We're waiting for 6.6 DME, 7.4. 7.2, you know what, that'll do. Heading select, turning left on that heading. Final course can be set now, which is 094. Gonna drop the gear soon. Ooh, remember this auto throttle is a bit sensitive. It isn't as good as it is on modern aircraft. Felis is explaining it to me. You know, it is a bit like this in real life too. Right, where's 180 knots? And we can now start our descent. So vertical speed, and we're going to set in 1,000 feet per minute. Out select, 180 knots, and we're downwind here. So we're actually going to drop the gear. It's quite early, but the workload's going to be very high. So we're going to descend. We're descending now to this platform of 10,300 max, or at 180. This is going to get very interesting in a second. I think I just want to speed up my descent here slightly. And I'm actually going to drop the gear down now. Bug about 160. Flat 20. Max speed flat 20 is 230 knots, so we can go flat 20.
Flaps 20.
And
down,
next point is
light.
going to be max 165 knots, which I've already bugged. Speed's going to slowly come back. Alarm nav lock, VOR lock again. Just wait until we're beamed VOR first. Wait until the arrow is at 90 degrees here. Oh, here we are coming out the cloud, and there is Bogota down there. My goodness. I'm going to take another natch of flops.
Flaps 25.
Arming Vorlock. Going to set this next radial 094, then it gets very busy at 8 miles from Upson. From 5 miles away, we can start our descent to the MDA. So 10,300. There's Navlog, that's all captured. Missed approach altitude, I'm not going to set. So make sure it levels off at 10,500. The airport is over here to the left. Right, landing flap 30, 144. And select flap 30.
Flaps 30.
Wait until 5 miles to start our descent, which is very shortly. Coming up, landing checklist. Ah.
Landing checklist.
Gear.
Ah.
Down
So wait
and
until
check.
5 miles.
and
5
check.
miles, we can
Flaps.
start our descent to our minimums.
Flaps 30.
9,800.
30. Ignition.
Oh, where are we going? Where are we going? Vertical speed.
Flight start.
Outsail.
Anti-skid.
Why is it
Check.
not descending vertical speed?
Altimeter.
Right, I'm disconnecting. Disconnecting autothrottle.
2, 7.
And disconnecting
cross-check.
autopilot.
10,000.
Because I'm not sure what the automation's doing. Right, so we're going to go
Approaching
to the minimums.
Landing checklist completed.
So we're just going to wait until the minimums at Usbin. And we'll start our turn in final. We're waiting for the distance of 8 miles. Approaching minimums.
Minimums.
Yoke cam's going on. There we are. Ooh-ah. So, alright. We're going to have to imagine with visual, which we are. We would see the airport clearly, but on a desktop simulator, it's off there to the left. We're just waiting for 8 DME now. Just want to level off here for a short while. Minimums, I can see that in chat. Yeah, I don't want to get any lower here. God, listen to these engines. Right, there's 8 miles, 7.9, 8 miles. So we're going to turn north towards the airport. Just keep descending at about 500 feet per minute. I'm really missing the Tobii eye tracker, but it's just not compatible at the moment with the sim. Look at our ground speed, 180 knots. Even though I'm doing 145, that's because of the air density. Don't want to get too slow on speed here. Keep descending. Oh, it's so hard, guys. There's 1,000 feet per minute. I didn't even make any changes.
1,000.
Right, the airport's to the north here. I can see the runway. You guys probably can't, but it's here to the left. Let me just adjust my position slightly. I'll turn the flight directors off as well. There we go. So we're not using them. Speed's good. That's a good position for me. Need to keep descending to be at 8,800 feet here. You guys can't see the runway yet, but I can see it. I can't even see the pappies. I can't. This is so hard to judge the correct height. Speed's good. Just take a bit of thrust off. I'll just keep descending. Keep descending. You can see the runway. Turning final. I can't see any pappies at all. Keep descending. Keep descending.
500.
Checked. I can't see the runway. I can't see any pappies. Oh. Don't tell me that's 2 reds, 2 whites. It is! I can't believe it. Or is it 4 reds? I can't tell. Right, I'm continuing. Speed's good. Oh, it's 4 reds. Nothing to see here, but that I can't. I couldn't even see them until turning final. In reality, you would see them clearly. Right, keep descending. Keep descending. A tad low here, guys. Keep descending.
50, 40, 30,
Check.
20,
Close.
10.
Hold the attitude. Oh, not butter though. Right,
Check
a
reverse.
great landing. Right, speed brakes up. I'll just make sure they are by doing that. Reverses, lower the nose, a little firm, but I don't care. Oof. I thought we were there, 2 reds, 2 whites. And reverser, wheel brakes are nowhere near as effective. Centerline though was excellent. Oh, I was a bit low there. I was too low. I should have got around, guys. But it's just not easy to see in the sim. There's 80 knots. Brakes on minimum, remember, and manual braking.
Auto brake off. 60 knots.
Stoner reverses. And
Out,
ladies and
off,
gentlemen, welcome
reverse.
to Bogota. It's going to be an epic replay though. I'm pretty happy with that. It just got a little bit low. The last 400 or 500 feet got a little bit low there. Oh, but what a sim. Really, really cool. Really enjoyed that flight. I hope you did too. Whew. Right, well, it looks like we missed the worst of the weather. We'll take the next right here. Speed brakes up, flaps coming up.
Flaps 1.
There we
Flaps
are.
up.
Let me bring up Navigraph. And then what we're going to do is going to take the second exit. Or go via Hotel 1 here onto Hotel. And then we'll taxi onto stand that way. Quite a long taxi in today. Fortunately no ATC, but they're using the other runway today. Oh, I did try for a butter, but not bad, not bad. I was pretty happy with that. Just the last 500 feet I was low, but the Pappies look good and the angle looked good. And then when the Pappies came in, I was like, oh yeah, 4 reds. Awesome stuff. I hope you enjoyed that anyway. Right, let's taxi on in. Whew, that was one of the most difficult approaches I've done in a while. Oh dear. Right, I'll try and do the cleanup and then I'll run the checklist, see how much we've forgotten. We're going to go all the way over here to the other taxiway hotel. This is just default Bogota Airport. It looks really good.
50.
Do spoilers
40,
go on for takeoff, said Harry.
30, 20,
Harry Eminent, they
10.
don't. Flight Sim School, thanks a lot for the $10. Very kind of you. Thank you.
That was pretty sweet and impressive.
Thank you.
Gonna have to try this approach myself.
It's awesome, isn't it? Well, in the 737 or Airbus and modern aircraft with fancy autopilots and RNAV capability, there are RNAV approaches available. We had to fly the VOR approach, but we flew the VORs, the tracks, it worked really well. Oh, that was really good. Andy, just thank you very much. He did say if I was going to butter, he'd donate 5 members, but he still would donate it even though I didn't butter. Thank you very much, Andy Tuss, who's gifted a membership to Phil MC. Welcome on board. Phil MC is a member. Thank you very much, Andy Tuss. That's very generous of you. Thank you. Welcome, Phil MC. My goodness me. But yeah, the actual sim itself, the Felis 747, absolutely incredible. Really enjoyed this flight today. Right, let's get the APU started. I don't really know the full start procedure here. Now look at this, we're doing 21 knots ground speed. It looks like we're barely moving because we're so high up here. Absolutely superb. I really enjoyed that flight. APU start. There we go. Oh my goodness, there's a million things I need to do in this cleanup here. Strobes have never turned on. Whoops. Anyway, let's just talk about the taxi initially. So we're going to go in via hotel, a nice straight line here. We'll take the left into Mike, then Echo, and then the big 747 stands, I think, are here. Yeah, stand 19, look in via Echo. That's the one I was planning on. There's 28 knots. Make sure to stay on the centre line. Let's do a nice little taxi fast. Enjoy the sounds. Watch your ears, guys. You'll enjoy this, though. Reflections. I hope it's on the taxiway. Awesome, isn't it? Oh yeah, engage the body gear steering. Oh yeah, I'm quite surprised I was able to turn off. Thank you. Epic. Right, AP should be up and running by now. And still doing 20 knots. So speed back up again. We need to make left at Mike, which is coming up. Those are some loud hair dryers, and you guys would enjoy that. Sorry, who was that I was pinging up as a member there? That was Steve Cooksley, thanks for the 8 months, thank you. I particularly enjoyed the many different ways that you could pronounce Bogota. Unbelievable. Bogota. 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 Any more? Unbelievable. Thank you very much. Oh dear. Just a typical Englishman. Right, what else can we do here? Oh, there's a million things we can do. Flight directors off. Oh, my goodness me. Yeah, I give myself 8 out of 10 for that. The actual approach, very pleased with myself. Very busy, as you can see. And disconnecting fine. Turning, sort of descending onto finals, fine. It just was probably a couple hundred feet low turning final. And the Pappies I thought was good. And I was like, oh, can't believe it. But actually, when it came into view, I could only see it at around 300 feet above the ground. So it was actually low. But yeah, for the difficulty of the approach, flying a 3 crewed aircraft and a desktop simulator, pretty happy. Right, left on mic. So high up in this thing. You know what, the graphics are not as good as Microsoft Flight Simulator at all, but the airports, default airports are great. Cut the corner slightly. It's lightning, but thankfully they've updated the weather so you don't have severe turbulence through every single cloud you fly through. Right, there we are on mic. We're going to take that right in at Echo and stand... stand 19 was right in off Echo, look. Next right coming up is Echo. Let me just zoom in on the charts. There we go. A little bit uphill here. First live stream of Corton, what a beauty to catch. Thank you very much, Mark McKay. Glad you enjoyed the stream. Welcome on board. Guys, if you enjoyed the stream, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button if you want to stay up to date with the latest content. Subscribe as well. I'm also on social media. I generally post every single stream on social media as well. Right, we'll take a right in here. Hopefully I'll have some epic replays for you. And let's just run that landing checklist. See how much I've forgotten.
After landing
Or
checklist.
the ignition I forgot to do.
Brake pressure.
What's the brake
Check.
temperatures like?
Body
Brake temperatures are
steering.
fine, look. That's because I used max reverse and very
Auto
little
brake.
braking.
Hold on.
Uh-oh, auto brake off. So that's stand 19 on the left here. Don't think they've got the markings for, unfortunately. Anti-skid, was it? No, auto brake.
Off.
Ignition.
Off.
Engine and wing anti-ice.
Oh no, I missed the
Radio
one show,
and
said
transponder.
Keith. Who watches that? Radio radar transponder, yeah, that's still on TR rates, but that's standby. Oh, and this is off.
Stand by.
There we go, standby.
Flaps.
Up.
Here's stand 19.
Spoilers.
Down.
Stabilizer trim.
7 units.
Outflow valves. Open. Pressurization mode selector. Wait.
That needs to be in manual. That would be the engineer's job, but I'll jump in the back and do that shortly. Pulling onto stands. A little bit right of the line here, so I'll just straighten up in a second. Philippe, thank you very much again for another donation.
50,
Got married today
40,
and he's still watching the stream.
30, 20, 10.
Brilliant. Bring it to a stop, they're so high.
Make the next leg Bogota SBKP Campinas, Brazil,
Parking
Plaza.
brake set.
Isn't that your home where you just got married? I'll consider that, Philippe. Thank you very much for your donation. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. And another one as well. My goodness. Right, what else do I need to do? Pressurization mode selected to manual.
Manual. Aft cargo heat.
Uh-oh.
Let's see.
How am I meant to remember to do all this?
Off.
Amazing, I can remember where it all is.
APU. Check.
On the bus then.
Checklist completed.
So APU is on the bus and the engines have been disconnected. We can now shut the engines off. So IDG is disconnected. APU's on the bus. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bogota. Press service. Stop that. Let's do the jetway first. Request ground service as well. So get all the doors open. And then I'll just have to remember to turn them all off for the replay. Ah, where is doors? Where's grounds? There we are. Refill oil. Yes, please. Set
Cockpit
chocks.
to ground. Put the chocks on.
Cargo doors open. Open L1 door. Perfect. Engines are still spooling down. What a beast, eh? Well, we did it. They take ages, but they are slowly spooling down. This sim actually looks really good. Turn that sound down. Well, hopefully we'll get some default X-Plane 12 ground baggage stuff. Cheers, John. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Glad you did. 0321 Short. Very nice flight, stream captain. Thank you very much. This has been 8,000 out of 10. Would take any chances again. Yeah, didn't go through the Swiss holes. Swiss cheese holes. We managed to be caught by one of the cheeses. 2 blues, 1 red engines, dead Anitors. No blue lights on this beast. Yeah, weather radar off. The ground stuff may want to have children sometime. Yes. Yeah, the scenery isn't bad here for being default. For default, it's absolutely fine. Yeah, for default. And obviously, developers will make nice scenery for this sim. Now, it looks like Austin's vegan food's arriving here. Brilliant. Yaroslav, thanks for the stream cap. You're most welcome. Welcome again. FDC3 as a member. Another great stream. Thanks so much. Welcome here. Frank Bytes, replay please. It is coming. It is coming. Did I shut these engines down? They seem to be taking ages to spool down. Oh yeah, UGT's 100. CM1, look. Really slowly spinning down. It used to be that slow. Well, here comes all the ground equipment. Very cool. Great live stream. But that's gonna... They're walking... Well, I'd be also... maybe it's because I've got the beacon light on. There we go. Yeah, this is... Default X-Plane 12 has a lot to offer. Yes, I do have Ortho, but that's free to install. But the Felis 747, guys, what an add-on, you know. It's essentially a one-man team that's made this, and it's an epic aircraft. Absolutely epic. Well, fuel truck's finally arrived, the vegan food truck. I just want to get it to attach, then we'll go straight to the replays. I just want to see what it does. It's pretty cool. At least Sunny's out, dry up some of those puddles. Oh, they love a puddle in this sim. It's actually working, really cool. I think it lasts for 10 minutes as well. How wicked. Is it going to go right up to the door? That's epic. This is all default. Don't scrape that on my fuselage. Ooh. It's really cool how it goes up to the doors, isn't it? Fuel trucks there. Even look at that. I mean, it's not exactly where the fuel truck is, but it's pretty cool. This is stock X-Plane 12. Let's even put the little stands down. How cool is that? Well, that's it, guys. We're gonna shut. Well, I'll cancel it and then we'll do the replay. I just wanted to see if it worked because I've never actually used that before. Stop. Toggle jetway, and we'll close the doors. Superb. Right. Oh, I think I remember how to do it. Ground. There we are. Close, 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 close. We'll do some replays. X-Plane 11 had that too, did it? No. Never saw that. Never saw that. Anyway, let's turn that music down, cue the funky replay music, and go from there. Yeah, really enjoyed that. I hope you guys did too. Right. Oh, I can't believe I did that gnarly approach. I'm glad I practiced it, that's for sure. Right, let's cue the funky replay music and see how that looked. There we go. Right, that's a little bit lower. So, replay, you can drag it, but don't click, otherwise it crashes the sim. There we go. So, out of curiosity there, what were the pappies showing? Oh, I can't even see the runway. I can't even see. You see, it's impossible to see. That's the runway with these trees in the way. I just want to see how high or low I was at this stage here. I felt a bit high, you see, so I sort of did 1,000 feet per minute on that final turn. But nicely turned onto the centre line. Still, see, all these trees are in the way, which block the pappies. Still can't see the pappies. Oh, it's because I was zoomed in. Right, let me just pause it here. So turning final, I can't even see the pappies there. The pappies are just not clear. There's the pappies, but if you zoom out, oh, I can't even see that. Yeah, that's 4 reds. But there, it's impossible. So, you know, it's very hard. In real life, pappies are extremely bright, and you can adjust your your rate of descent accordingly and set a new attitude to get back onto profile. On my test sectors, they were a lot clearer. I could certainly see a lot clearer what was going on. Right, let's go to the threshold. Oh, wrong runway. No, not that one. That one. Enjoy this. Oh yes! Yeah, you know what? It's quite firm, but for a wet runway, not bad. And that sort of approach. Cool, that was loud. God, you hear the replay music. It's a little bit low, the threshold. Oh, look at the wing vortices. Yeah, perfect. Epic. Let's do one from the tower. It looks like I got here just after the storm as well. This is the view from tower. What an epic add-on. Oh, look at the puddles! The reflection's so good. There'd be a bit of water splash and water coming off the runway as well with the reverse thrust, but we can forgive the sim for that. It was a long wheelie, yeah. It's an X-plane thing. It's quite difficult to get. The nose keeps wanting to fly. So I still haven't got the nose down. It would have settled in real life a lot more sooner. Still up. There we go. But just the behaviour of aircraft in this sim is, you know, it's not perfect yet, the flight controls, but doesn't, I mean, I love Microsoft Flight Sim, I really do, but just look at this aircraft on final. The aircraft just do not behave like this in Microsoft Flight Sim, so it's just better. It just is, I can't explain how, why, it just, aircraft handling is just spot on. And look at it in the flare, just how the aircraft moves. Yeah. Love both these sims, but this just it's something about this sim I really like. Right then, guys. Well, which view are we going to do? Oh, it should be the inside one, so you can enjoy it there. But I want to see the engines. Which one? Are we doing the engine view for the replay? Yeah, it has to be that one. But even though you see the sky for most of the final turn. Right. Look at the size of this building here. I don't know if that's there in real life. Right, I'll put you about there. Oh, still those engines. Right then, guys, that's it today. Thank you very much for tuning into another Flight Deck Sim live stream. This was the Felis 747-200. I cannot recommend this aircraft enough if you want to replicate flying as it was in the 60s in the Queen of the Skies. This is the add-on you need to get. It's so epic. I think it's $50 or something like that, but it's worth every single cent or penny. Everyone that donated, thank you very much for your generosity, especially to Philippe, who got married today and donated several times. Appreciate your generosity. To all the new members, welcome to the channel. To all the existing members, thank you very much for your continued support. And to all the regular viewers and subscribers, thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate the support. If you enjoyed the stream, don't forget to smash the thumbs up button, subscribe to stay up to date with the latest content. I'll hopefully squeeze another stream in between now and the weekend. Don't forget, members, Sunday evening, we've got the group flights. I'll be departing this airport, but we'll be going between here and Panama. Guys, stay safe, enjoy the upcoming weekend, and I'll see you all on another live stream very soon. Cheerio. you very much. I just saw a donation there as I do the rollout and the replay. Thank you, Torin 4x4 for the $8. Another donation as well. He says, good day, Captain. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you very much, buddy.
50,
Don't
40,
usually get the donations at this
30,
stage. It's very,
20,
very generous. So
10.
thank you. Take care, guys. See you all soon.
Good day, Captain. I thoroughly enjoyed it.